The heart of your team. The heart of Southern California. Bally Sports SoCal. The heart of the fan.
All right, we're on late, and the phones are open. Let's take some calls. We got Bruce in Santa Ana. Go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, P. Late night, huh?
Yes, sir, Bruce.
Man, you sound tired. Well, I just had to ask you, are you ready for high school football?
Am I ready for high school football on Friday night? Bruce, do you know that the high school game of the week is the best high school football in America? That's the NFL players that you're going to see in a few years. Carson Palmer, a machine from Santa Margarita. Josh Rosen leading the Braves to the title. Matt Castle holding it down for the city of Chatsworth. Sam Darnold, 1 pound, 1 team. Mark Sanchez, Bob Johnson's best. It all started with Justin Fargas is gone. Notre Dame High. Toby Gerhardt, the bull from Norco. Herschel Dennis, quick feet in the hole. Matt Grittygood leading the Monarchs with that chewed-up helmet. Groots! MJD, the game of the century, 1 versus 2, the flip. I don't think you understand. We're talking about big-time pro ballers, like the human joystick, Adoree Jackson and Sarah. Vontez Perfect, stopping everybody right away. What about Robert Woods with the Rams? Gardena Sarah, Anthony Barr, Loyola's proudest son. Juju Smith-Schuster, Long Beach Poly, Jackrabbit for life. And what about the moments? What about the battles between Modern Day and Poly? How many times they play for the championship? 3! Foothill League thriller, MacArthur with the winner. How about the comeback of the century? J.J. Wilson, 4 TDs in the vault to win it. Taj Mowry, is he in or not? I was there. I don't know. The mustache and the pregame speech of Bruce Rollinson. The shorts on Matt Logan, those legs will be bare in December. And the bagpipes of Servite. Credo, you want to know if I'm ready, Bruce? I've been ready. We got the color, the pageantry, the nighttime sky. The game of the week is next.
Yes, Petros, we are indeed fired up for Friday night high school football here in Southern California. Tonight, we greet you from San Juan Capistrano, home of the Swallows. We're at San Juan Hills High School. No better place, as the Stallion faithful can attest. The neighborhood school, led by sophomore captain Weston Port, will be trying to make a name for themselves and prove they can compete with the best private schools in the Southland. Tonight's test, Santa Margarita from the Trinity League, the toughest high school football league in the nation, and the Eagles have something to prove as well. They're ranked 7th in the state, but 2 teams, the top 2 teams in the nation, are ahead of them, all hailing from the Trinity League. The Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week kicking off tonight from the Badlands. It's the Santa Margarita Eagles and the San Juan Hills Stallions. Well, away we go here on the 26th year covering high school football in Southern California. I'm Steve Quist alongside the 24/7 national recruiting analyst in Greg Biggins. And Biggie, I bet you didn't sleep last night, did you, partner?
Bags under my eyes would probably attest to that. No, I can't wait. I feel like it's been a long offseason. I watched way too much 7-on-7 football. I'm ready for real football with pads on. I can't wait for tonight.
We start by talking about Santa Margarita. They are more experienced than last year. Got a lot of raw talent on this roster.
No, Nico Lopez, for me, he's one of the most underrated players in the state of California. A little bit lightly recruited going to Colorado State. But he's 6'3", he's 220, kind of that hybrid jumbo receiver, tight end. He'll play tight end in college for the Rams. I think he's going to have a big season, a big game tonight as well.
Talking about that raw talent, how about the kid that comes off from the edge?
Unbelievable story. Collins Achiampong from Ghana, after taking over to the United States as a basketball player. Hasn't played football, Steve, since his freshman year.
Wow.
40 scholarship offers, going to Michigan. A little bit raw, right? Give him some time, but upside-wise, off the charts.
San Juan Hills is a very young team, but with that youth, they happen to boast of perhaps the top sophomore linebacker in the country in Weston Port.
No, he's a unique talent, a special player, and I love a guy with a relentless, nonstop motor. The guy plays with just a maniacalness to him. Outside linebacker, edge rusher. He's going to be all over the field. They do a great job scheming him. Weston Port will have to have a big game tonight for the Stallions.
And how about their quarterback? He, too, is an underclassman in Butter Tollefson.
Yeah, no, for me, Butter, I guess early, but I think he might be the state's best 25 quarterback. He's that dual threat guy. He can stretch it with his arm or his legs. Makes every throw from the pocket. But what I love, Steve, the ability to escape 2 or 3 guys, make a miss, either run for it or make a big play down the road. The guy is unflappable, highly poised quarterback, very talented.
So many storylines to talk about. Glad to have you along here as we kick off the 2022 high school football season in SoCal. We'll kick this one off next on Bally Sports. The Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week is brought to you by SoCal Ford. The Southern California Ford dealers are The Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week is brought to you by SoCal Ford. The Southern California Ford dealers are proud to sponsor high school athletics. Built Ford proud. The Badlands has been sold out for a few days now. Over 3,000 on hand for this South Orange County opener. Santa Margarita ranked 7th in California against San Juan Hills on Military and First Responders Appreciation Night. We just had a terrific flyover a moment ago. My old coach at Fullerton used to say this time in August, it's time to buckle up those chin straps and go to war. Enough hitting each other, right, Anna Connolly?
2022 high school football season is finally here. Now, you're excited, Greg's excited, I'm excited, but this crowd is excited. I got here at about 4:30 today, so that's 3 hours before kickoff, and there was a steady line of cars heading into that parking lot. Now, like you said, I was told there's a sold-out crowd tonight, standing room only. Okay, and as much as this crowd is excited, I don't think anybody is more excited than these players and coaches. They have had 3 weeks of training camp, practice, with nothing at the end of the week to look forward to. San Juan Hills coaches were telling me pregame the energy was high this week, but not just with players, with coaches. These coaches are ready to get out there and see what their team is made of. Now, as for Santa Margarita, I talked to head coach Rouzier about how he was feeling about finally playing tonight. And Steve, he was wearing sunglasses when I asked him the question. He took the sunglasses off, looked at me in the eye, and all he said was, "It's time to eat."
It is. Thank you very much. This guy, I mean, he's got a Juris Doctorate and an MBA. So if any of these guys need a nil looked after, I mean, this is the guy, right, that can get you through that encounter.
Highly intelligent. He got me kind of fired up, man. He's ready to go, man. I think they see themselves as, kind of the bully, the Trinity League bully coming in here, and I think they're going to try to play a smash-mouth brand of football.
Robert Fripp, former El Toro head coach. It is 5th season on the sideline with San Juan Hills. He already has a title under his belt. They won back in 2019 a CIF Southern Section Championship. Teams are on the field. San Juan Hills won the toss, elected to receive. So the Stallions say, we want it first. We want to put some points on the board and play a little smash-mouth football ourselves here.
This atmosphere is pretty amazing. I've only been here once before. It was for that 2019 SoCal Regional Championship. But phenomenal crowd, great student section, great barbecue. Got it all here, Steve.
They do. Blake Wilson, he'll play baseball at Washington in the future. Tees it up. Back deep to receive for the Stallions. Colton Chase and Briggs Marquis. They're both deep right there at the goal line. And away we go here on the 2022 high school football season in the CIF Southern Section. That's going to be fielded by Briggs Marquis in the end zone, so it's a touchback. And our first look at Butter Tollefson, 6'1" sophomore quarterback.
What do we know on Butter?
Yeah, I mean, I love everything about him. Just his makeup. Number one for a quarterback. You kind of have to have a certain swagger, but it's a controlled, non-cocky swagger. He's that dual threat. That's at the opening. Great athlete. Might be their fastest runner, is what Coach Rob Frisch said. They lost the whole entire wide receiver crew, including Braden Peak is at UCLA. Already making plays at UCLA right now. So working in some new guys, and I'm curious. There's going to be a lot of pressure coming up front against that Santa Margarita defensive line.
Yeah, that's a huge storyline, losing those 4 senior wide receivers, one going to Nevada. You talked about Braden going to UCLA, another going to San Diego. Drive starts at the 20-yard line, and they're on the ground to start things, and it's Sullivan Land with the opening carry of the game. Let's take a look at our offensive players to watch.
Yeah, we've already mentioned him a few times. There they are. Butter Tollefson and Braden Balk are going to West Point. He's a two-way guy. I like his playing style. Edge rusher, 6'4", 240, but great hands. And if it's me, I'm looking for him. 6'4", 240, security blanket out there. New wide receiver core, go to your experienced tight end.
Taking a long time to get this play in here after there was no gain on a first down run by Sullivan Land, the junior. He was on the JV last year, but did get 2 games on varsity, had 6 carries under his belt. Second down and 10. Here comes the pressure from the middle. It's Land again, and this time he fights his way through up toward the 23 and no further. Your defensive players to look out for on the Eagles.
Yeah, they're both in the defensive line. 98 right there. Collins, Achiampong. Again, he might be a little bit raw and still kind of learning the game, but just such a gifted athlete. And then Tyler Parker, about 6 feet. 295, 300 pounds, grown man strength. He cannot move. That whole entire D-line, LeVar Talley's the guy, not one of our players to watch, but he might be their best pure defensive lineman, their best pure pass rusher right now.
Again, taking an awful long time to get this in. I guess you want to shorten the game. Coming off a 3-7 season a year ago, they missed the playoffs to the Stallions out of the South Coast League, which boasted 4 teams. 3rd and long. And there's our first penalty marker of the game. Jeff Roberts is our referee.
77, false start.
And that's against Trevor Newkirk.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And Newkirk is the 6'6", 305-pound junior projected as a Pac-12 lineman. And not a good start for Robert Frith's team. Yeah,
kind of game within the game. I was kind of curious which guy Newkirk would line up against. I mentioned LeVar Talley, probably their best speed rusher. Great get-off Talley has. And you have Collins, Achiampong on the opposite side. Right now it's Newkirk on Collins. And that'll be a fun game within the game matchup for me to watch for sure.
After the penalty, it goes from 3rd and 7 to 3rd down and 12 now. High snap. Tollefson wants to throw on the run and gets caught from the backside at the 15-yard line, and down he goes. And it looked like it was Collins Achiampong, who's headed to Michigan, who gets him from the backside.
It was, man. I love right there the initial move right there by Butter, making 2 guys miss. But that clock in his head kind of has to be saying, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. Wasn't able to. Collins, with that motor of his, gets the sack.
3 and out. They wind up losing 4 yards against Santa Margarita here on their opening drive. And it's time to punt. Back deep for Santa Margarita will be Trenton Mosley. The Mosley brothers are here now. Of course, one transferring from Servite. They come after the punt. It's a short one. And it's going to bounce its way up toward the 30-yard line. And what great starting field position for the Santa Margarita Eagles here after that punt by Ben Garcia.
Yeah, talking to Coach Rouge. Just call him Coach Rouge for short. But, I mean, he said it's going to be a heavy dose of the run game. He has 3 or 4 guys that he loves. And he loves his offensive line, big, physical up front. He can bully ball. He just wants to bully these guys up front and see if they can hang with them.
San Juan Hills was making an argument that actually touched a Santa Margarita player and would have been live and could have very well been San Juan Hills' ball at the 30-yard line. However, Santa Margarita takes over. Yeah,
I wonder why they kind of jumped on it instead of letting it roll a little bit, but if they felt it touched a Eagle player, that makes some sense.
First look at Jackson Potter, the senior quarterback, headed to the University of Alabama, Birmingham next season. Not a place you see many Southern California kids go. On first down, in plus territory. They fake the dive and they throw it here to Emmett Mosley, and the junior's got some space, And the junior's going to be brought down at the 6-yard line, and then the ball pops out. How about that?
Mosley's a guy that I've been watching since 8th grade, and he's so gifted. Both his parents went to Notre Dame and played at a high level football and soccer. He's been injured most of his time. Matt Servite came over here to Santa Margarita, but nice little run after catch. But then again, gets the ball punched out. Santa Hills jumps on it.
Yep, it is Jake Javrowski, the junior, who gets it. So they'll have their second possession, albeit they'll have a long field in front of them. But it looked like Mosley was headed to the end zone, and a turnover. You tend to see that early in a season in a week 0 game. It's a perfect time for it to happen.
Yeah, and I think that was Braden Bachler, the kid going to West Point, number 88. Mentioned him as a tight end, also an edge rusher. I think he's the one who popped the ball loose. Nice play by the Stallions.
And so one offensive touch for Santa Margarita, and they turn it over. And back onto the field comes Butter Tollefson. His coach says he reminds Robert Frith of 2 of the El Toro quarterbacks he had that went on to play in the Pac-12. Connor Manning at Utah, Trey Tinsley at Washington State. Here's a run, and that'll get out to the 12-yard line. And your keys to the game, Biggie.
Yeah, for Santa Margarita, not too crazy. For Santa Margarita, I said, hey, just play smash mouth football. That's what Coach Ruse says they want to do. Again, he sees himself as the bigger, stronger, more physical team and loves the running backs they have. In Seminole Hill, I said, just break even in the trenches. Right there, they're not as big. You just gotta kind of hold their own and not get bullied up front.
There you look at head coach Anthony Rouzier in his 3rd season. Picked him up from over in Germany. He was coaching internationally. We talked to you about the fact that he has a Juris Doctorate and an MBA. Maybe a little overqualified for this. Tollefson, this looks like it's Sullivan Land again, and Sullivan Land is going to get the first down of the game for San Juan Hills. Comes with 8:23 to go here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, Coach Rob, he likes Sullivan Land. Again, they lost not just the receivers, they lost a lot of their running game as well. So a lot of new skill players for the Stallions, but kind of everything between the tackles so far for the Stallions with that run game.
Jacob Bauer making the tackle out of his linebacker position. We showed you Anthony Rouzier. He's also calling the defense this year. So not only is he the head coach, he's the defensive coordinator. This is interesting, this rhythm that San Juan Hills plays at, that it's very methodical, take your time. Tollefson with the pressure coming, throws it. It's going to be incomplete. In coverage there was Matthew Bays, and the intended target was Ryan Schaefer for San Juan Hills.
He got drilled right as he threw that, which again, that's about a 2-step drop, and right as he threw it, gets hit. He's a tough kid. I'm a fan of watching quarterbacks and see how they react to getting their bell rung a few times, and the Eagles will bring nonstop pressure. I mentioned Coach Ruse is DC, Coach Rob Frith is the OC for San Juan Hills. So
2nd down and 10. We talked about them losing 4 senior wide receivers earlier, but the only guy out there who had a catch last season would be the tight end Braden Bachler, who's headed to Army where they don't throw the football. Tollefson with the pressure coming. He's going to get grabbed and brought down back at the 2-yard line. Ben Durham is the first guy to get there.
Coach Ruse loves those linebackers as well. He talked about that front, but he said he's got 2 or 3 linebackers that, just really good, solid high school football players. Might not be the high-level Power 5 prospects, but just they can run and hit, physical, aggressive. Got guys that can move around, versatility.
Could be tough for Tollefson tonight already. He's dropped back 3 times and has been sacked twice. So the Eagles coming after him, and we haven't even really called LeVar Talley's name yet, who maybe has the best get-off of anybody here for the Santa Margarita Eagles, who are in white. Long field here and a long 3rd down. You're talking 3rd and 23. Not sure what any high school has in the playbook for this. And Tollefson is going to try and run, and there's Durham again. And Durham is going to bring him down shy of the 3-yard line.
They're pretty creative. Coach Ruse kept saying, 3-3-3, and they'll take the other 2 guys, kind of move them all over the place. But, they'll play a lot of different things schematically. But, Donovan Camestro is another guy, and obviously we've seen Durham. Those are 2 players that they will move, they'll blitz, they'll play them in space. Really creative and kind of tough right now for Butter Tollefson.
So the second time Garcia's going to have to punt, this time with his ankles square at the very back of the end zone. His last punt was downed at the 30-yard line and gave Santa Margarita great starting field position. They would turn it over. And this one is dropped, and down he goes. So the snap dropped, and then he winds up getting dropped. Back there was Donovan Camestro, who just got an offer from Colgate this week, and so 2-0 Santa Margarita.
Yeah, Coach Ruse could not talk enough about Donovan Camestro. I got the chance to see him a lot playing in the 7-on-7 circuit, OC Elite kid, and he can go. Corner, safety, again, they're going to say that Coach Ruse said they'll play him at linebacker, they'll blitz him. Really, really smart. Obviously, mentioned the Colgate thing. Really smart football player as well. And if you're at DC, you love a player with that kind of versatility. The first snap on the opening punt was a little bit wobbly as well, and that one just couldn't handle it. So
San Juan Hills cannot take advantage of the takeaway here in the opening quarter and wind up giving away 2 points. I guess that's better than giving up the 6 that it appeared like Mosley was going to have on that opening drive.
Glass can be half full, right? You could say, oh, could have been a touchdown the opening drive, but you also could say, hey, we had a chance to keep them from scoring, period. They kind of had a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of success with the little running game in between, got a first down, right? And then drop back 2 or 3 times in a row, and that pass rush by Santa Margarita is pretty relentless.
You know, the one thing that is always far behind, especially in week 0, is special teams, isn't
it?
You don't have a lot of time to work on, even though you think you have a lot of time because of the summer and the spring. And so San Juan Hills on special teams on the punt has a short punt and then has safety on a punt, and they trail it 2-0 here.
We saw a lot of snapping issues last year, right?
Yes, we did.
We made the comment, even
especially
Bosco,
with St. John
right?
Bosco. Yeah.
Every game we did outside of Mater Dei, there was just, whether it be a snap too high, too low, a punt that got shanked multiple times in a game. It was just special teams at the high school level, always a struggle.
Garcia is going to decide to punt it. Trent Mosley has it, and then Mosley is drilled down back at his own 48-yard line. Going up there to make the tackle was Spencer Uri for San Juan Hills. So that time they cover the punt on the free kick. And here's Jackson Potter coming back out. Santa Margarita's had 1 offensive touch. Turned the ball over.
I mentioned Potter UAB. He took a visit there and just fell in love with the school. Just really loved the offense. And I like Jax. I think he's got a chance to be good. But for whatever reason, kind of lightly recruited. 6'4", 6'5" guy. He's been a 3-year starter here. And got a really, I think, a pretty strong skill set. One of the more accurate quarterbacks. Big, strong kid. Gets the ball down the field. But just kind of lightly recruited. Took that visit to UAB and just jumped on the offer a couple days later.
Drive starts at the 48.5-yard line for the Eagles on their side of the field, and they're running it here on first down. Not much there. Levi Kreider making the stop. Your players to watch here on the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles?
Yeah, so Jackson Potter, I just, again, mentioned him. I'm expecting a jump from him. I think a lot of times between junior and senior year, you see players, especially quarterbacks, the game just kind of slows down for them, and I expect Jackson to just kind of the game's going to slow down, decision-making, accuracy, it's all better. And then I mentioned Nico Lopez in our opening. I mean, he's one of the more uncoverable receivers because he's got that big body tight end. You can kind of bully smaller corners, but he got the athleticism to run by linebackers. So love his game.
After a short little gain on the run, we should point out that Santa Margarita is without their starting running back. They're actually going with a sophomore here, the San Clemente transfer, Lee Fui Maano, and Jake Foy, almost 200 yards from scrimmage a year ago versus San Juan Hills, but he's out with mono tonight.
Yeah, so like 4 or 5 games he's going to be out for. But again, they love their running back core. They got a slew of guys, but Weston Port, again, can't talk about him enough. Effort guy, hybrid edge rusher. And then Prioche, cornerback, who coaches swear by is going to be a high-level Power 5 guy. Real natural corner, natural fluid athlete.
How about that? Weston Port on 3rd down and short moves into the neutral zone. And
prior to the snap, encroachment by the defense. 5-yard penalty. Enforcement of the penalty results in a first down.
And so the Eagles get a first down here via the penalty, and another mistake here in week 0 for Robert Fripp's team.
Yeah, and knowing Western, man, he wants to make a play so bad, right? I mean, that's kind of how he's wired. He's just a high-energy guy, a little over-anxious, but anticipating Port having a good game tonight.
at the 40 of San Juan Hills. Backs it an offset eye on a 1st down and 10. They're going to run it again, and they go to the sophomore again, and this time he gets denied. It is Dylan Wershing, the hybrid safety, who comes across and drops Fui Ma'ano for a loss.
Yeah, 5'10", 175. Those linebackers for San Juan Hills, 175, 195, 195. They're a little on the smaller side, but they can all run. Athletic, quick kids who can tackle in space.
Pete Sylvie's the defensive coordinator, also the director of strength and conditioning at San Juan Hills. They run that 3-4, and there's Wershling. Loss of 3 yards backs him up to a 2nd down and 13 here. 2nd drive of the game for the Eagles of Santa Margarita out of the Trinity League. Not sure if anybody's going to have the talent to catch Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, but they might have a chance to take Servite's place from last year. This is Torian Nash, another sophomore, and no gain there as he gets dropped at the line of scrimmage.
It's always about depth when you're playing those two teams. Not to get away from this game, but I think Santa Margarita feels, player for player in our first 22. We can hang with anybody, but it's just Mater Dei and Bosco have 80 guys that they can throw out there at any time.
Exactly.
The practices are so intense, they can go like that.
On 3rd and long, an empty backfield now for Jackson Potter. He had 3 touchdown passes a year ago in this win over San Juan Hills in the opener. San Juan Hills lost their first 5 games of the season. Ended the year, as we mentioned, missing the playoffs, finished at 3-7. Potter facing a 4-man rush, gets rid of it, and into the arms of Emmett Mosley. This time he hangs on, but he gets dropped after a gain of 4. Ryan Hagani making the stop there, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, kind of in that in-between stage, right? Was it 4th and about 5 or 6? But you're on the 36-yard line, so you punt. I'm always a fan of inside the 40-yard line. I'm going for it every single time, and I think Coach Rouge is as well.
Only 2 first downs in the game so far for Santa Margarita. We're coming up on 2 minutes to go here in this opening quarter. They lead it 2-0. They're going for it on 4th down from the 37-yard line. Potter has plenty of time, moves the feet, fires, and the catch is made by the Servite transfer, Emmett Mosley, for a 1st down.
Nice. Again, I love the subtle, I call it subtle pocket movement by Potter. Not happy feet, just kind of moves, slides away from some pressure, slides to his right, and a nice job by Mosley. Just a settle. Sometimes you see receivers kind of running around like crazy. Just find a soft spot, settle right there, make it easy for your quarterback. Nice 1st down pickup.
I don't think the Stallion fans would share in this sentiment, but I'm certainly happy to see Emmett Mosley back on the field. He had a hard time staying on the field last year due to that injury with Servite. He played for that Servite team that was runner-up in Division I to Mater Dei.
He would have made a difference. I mean,
Yes,
I think he only played 2 games. I think we might have seen him in both those 2 games. He did about 5 or 6 Servite games last year, but I mean, he is gifted. Emmett Mosley is a national recruit with offers from all the Pac-12 and Notre Dame. I mentioned his mom won the Herman Trophy, which goes to the female top soccer player in the country. Dad played football, so I mean, he's a guy I've been watching since 8th grade. I want him to step up and make some plays. I think this year will be big.
Brian Eisman made the catch there, but it might get wiped out because of a penalty marker. Jeff Roberts will tell us, and it will, in fact, be a foul against Santa Margarita and the Eagles.
Looked like a wide receiver, a little overzealous in his block. Got that out there before the ball was even thrown.
Illegal block in the back against the offense, number 19. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 1st down.
So they get the Colorado State-bound Nico Lopez here, number 19.
Yeah, it kind of happened right there in front. Just about a half second, right? Just that's all it is, though.
Laid a hit on Dylan Wershing. And so that backs the ball up to the 31-yard line here, inside of 90 seconds to go in a swift-moving opening quarter. Torian Nash is the tailback as Potter gets ready to go under center here. First down and 16 from back at the 31-yard line after the penalty. Potter looking left, now rolling out. Another penalty marker. He's going to take off and gets to the 25. He'll be down there, but hold everything for the penalty. It's Dylan Wershing again on the stop. Boy, another self-inflicted wound here against the Santa Margarita Eagles.
But again, I'm not trying to celebrate him too much and be corny, but I like Potter. I like, again, last year he probably throws the ball, forces
offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, repeat first down.
Forces the ball down the field, potential for an interception. That time, no one's open. Buys some time, no one's open, so takes off and runs. He's not a bad athlete for a big 6'5", lanky quarterback.
Aiden Caronson with the infraction, the senior. When we talked with the head coach, Anthony Rouzier, last week, he said that left side's a work in progress. We're settled on the right side, right, with the big sophomore Ethan Thomas, who they say is the real deal. But on that left side, they got 3 guys they might use at tackle this year before it's all said and done.
I love their center, Jelani Viva. For me, again, I think he's one of the more under-recruited players. I saw him a ton in Polynesian Ball All-American and played tackle last year. He's moving to center. That's going to be his college position.
Eisman with a catch.
Gifted.
Eisman with a catch on a first down and 30, partner.
Yeah, we're just kind of finishing the thought on Leva. He's going to be a center or guard at the college level, but I think he's probably their best tackle. But I think Coach Rouge, he's about trying to showcase these kids and getting them out. So I almost think he's kind of taking one for the team a little bit, right? I think he'd be their best tackle, but wants to see him get some snaps at center where he'll be recruited higher. I think that's kind of cool.
Not sure we're going to have enough time for one more play. Let's see if they can rush to the line here with 14 seconds to go and try and get off a second down and 28 play. 2-0 Santa Margarita on a safety. Got 5 seconds to go. And Potter's unable to get that off. So when we come back, it'll be second down and 28 for the Eagles in this South Orange County rivalry game. Had the flyover on Military and First Responders Appreciation Night. 2-0 Eagles after 1 quarter of play.
The first quarter is not officially over because just prior to the clock running out of time, Santa Margarita Catholic was flagged with a delay of game.
Back at San Juan Hills High School here on Friday night, week 0. Our coverage starting our 26th year. We're not quite into the second quarter yet. As a matter of fact, there was a delay of game penalty called with 3 seconds to go on the clock. So the Eagles are going to get a chance here at one more play to end the quarter. They'll put 3 seconds back on, back them up 5 yards, and so now they're looking at a second down and 34 before they get a little bit of a break heading into the second quarter. This is the second drive of the game for Santa Margarita, ranked 7th in the state of California. And you have Mater Dei and St. John Bosco 1 and 2, not only in the nation, but 1 and 2 in the state, and they're kind of flip-flopping. Max Krebs. One's 1 in the country, one's number 1 in California. It's crazy. Analytics these days. Potter gets the play off. Potter fires into double coverage for Lopez, and it popped out. Oh, he almost had it for a first down. He would have had just enough for a first down on 2nd and 34.
He can make that catch 4 out of 5 times. I mean, his strong hands, body control, and big body. I've seen him make that same play several times. Again, I like Jack's kind of giving him a chance to make the play. Had both hands on it, and then a nice play by the defense.
Christian Pioche Sr. was defending, a kid that's added 25 pounds of muscle this season. He wears number 21. And then he got some safety help as well there from Rylan Schaefer, who came over from Jay Serra a year ago. And boy, Nico Lopez is a big guy, isn't he? Colorado State got a good one, as a matter of fact.
Still.
Yeah.
They're recruiting Orange County heavily.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a kid. I think he's, borderline Power 5 kid, so.
He's the 19th commit for the Mountain West Conference's top-ranked class at Colorado State. So here's your Santa Margarita Eagles fun facts. Established in 1987. First Catholic high school to serve South Orange County. And here's your notable alums, right? In the top 3, right? Carson Palmer.
Not bad.
Klay Thompson's got, 4 NBA championships.
Yes.
Trace Thompson might get a World Series ring with the Dodgers this year.
I don't know about that one.
Interesting. You still got hope in the Angels, don't you?
No,
you still think the Angels are going to win it?
Give it up on Mom. I'm a Mets fan now.
Look,
I'm being a hater.
I'll say one thing. The Angels were 1-0 with an ERA of 2 with me as the host of Angels Live.
Hey, big win tonight, 1-0. So Carson Palmer, one of the most gifted athletes. I mean, he was actually a pretty decent basketball player as well, but saw him a ton in high school. Early on, a little bit so robotic the way he moved, and then it kind of just became always was special, but man, he could throw the football. He was just a gift. He could throw it.
He was the 0-2 Heisman Trophy winner at USC, a 3-time Pro Bowler. Played more than a dozen years, did Carson Palmer in the National Football League.
So the first overall. I mean, you couldn't have spelled it out any better.
So the drive will continue. It's 3rd and 34 from the San Juan Hills 49-yard line. Potter under center. Again, they're playing without Jackson Foy. The senior had almost 200 yards from scrimmage a year ago in what was a big win, and they're going to just dump it out of the backfield to Skylar Lindsey Van, and he is a freshman. They say he's going to be a national recruit in a few years. He can do everything, but he can't get a first down there.
Everything but that. No, I watched some tape of him playing for the OG Ducks as an 8th grader, but no, I mean, he's got all the tools you can want in a young Duck, and just a freshman. It's like a college freshman right now, man. He's got a body.
He does. He winds up picking up just 9 for all his efforts. They have a 4th down and 25 now at the 40-yard line, so they run the punter on here. And we'll have to punt the football away on what was the second drive of the game for Santa Margarita Eagles. And for some reason, San Juan Hills, despite the safety given up, is hanging around in this one.
No, it's a great word, hanging around. And they're really well coached, and that's a bounce pass back to the punter right there.
Blake Wilson's the punter. Again, he'll play baseball at the University of Washington when he goes to college. Everybody in a camouflage jersey is going to get away from this one, and the drive will start at the 6-yard line when we return. One of the top teams in the Trinity League with a 2-0 lead on the road tonight at rival San Juan Hills. Third drive of the game for San Juan Hills will start at the 5. We'll start this segment by checking in with the third member of our team, Anna Conley. Anna.
Hey, the previous 2 drives, Butter Tollefson comes off the field and goes directly to Coach Mack. That's Mark McElroy, legendary Orange County coach. Everyone knows his name, but a lot of the frustration on the San Juan Hills sideline is coming from that offensive line. Now, in high school, you're able to have video review on the sidelines. All 5 of those guys head into the video tent with their heads pretty low. They're frustrated, but all 5 of those guys are coming out of that tent with their heads held high. And each time, this third time they're out there on the field, all 5 of them marched on this field ready to take on that Trinity League defensive line.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, and we were told they've got some experience on that offensive line with Newkirk, but he's already had a penalty. They start on the ground as Sullivan Land, and he fights his way up near the 8-yard line. Chiapong and Ben Durham in there.
And you can be experienced, and you can know what they're going to do, but when the guy across from you is 6 feet 290 and the guy next to him is 6'3", 215 with the get-off, and the guy opposite him is 6'6", and 250, sometimes all that experience and know what they're coming doesn't help. It's still man-on-man, and sometimes you got to credit the defense for just being pretty good football players, right?
Yeah. It's heavy sledding right here. The first 2 drives for San Juan Hills, 3 plays, -4 yards. This is their third drive here. They've punted, and they've tried to punt from in the end zone and gave up the safety, and that's why it's 2-0. The 7th-ranked team in the state of California.
And I'm watching the receivers. There's no separation, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like Butter has guys running wide open. It's 2 seconds to throw and no one getting open, and he's got to just eat the football.
Yeah, there's Toffelson showing why he ran for 449 yards, 6 touchdowns as a freshman last year. Jacob Bauer brings him down. A year ago as a freshman, 1,300 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, just 3 picks in 9 games for Butter Tollefson.
In a tough league. I thought the South Coast League's probably, almost the top 5 league in California, right? Yep. You talked about the Trinity League. The Mission League, I think, is really strong. I think he took South Coast with Mission Viejo and San Clemente. Those teams can go. Capital Valley's always strong. Now I think the Sunset League is really good, right? Edison, Los Al, Corona del Mar, Newport.
Can they get a first down here, partner? Pin back at their own 12-yard line, a 3rd down and 3, and there's a penalty marker. Will they have early movement on their line again? Stallions are signaling that it's going to be against the Eagles. Jeff Roberts will tell us. Might Tyler Parker have moved the teen Hulk? Let's see.
Prior to the snap, encroachment against the defense, number 11. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, they get the rush edge guy, LeVar Talley, with 4.5 sacks as a sophomore last year.
I think he had 2 or maybe even 3 against Mater Dei. So you watch him, he's all about that get-off. He is so quick off the ball. And I think if you're an offense, you can kind of scheme against that, right? Maybe a hard count. He's always just ready to go off that edge, so you can get him leaning a little bit.
Both teams have had a bad penalty here in this first half that has given their opponent on offense a first down. Inside of 10 minutes to go before half. I think San Juan Hills, who won the toss, elected to take the ball. And look, the offense is stalled, but they've got to feel pretty fortunate right now against Santa Margarita to be down just 2-0.
Yeah, it's kind of a baseball score right now, right? Speaking of,
they need a 3-run home run. Tollefson, all kinds of action, fires it, and a great catch by the Army-bound tight end. Going up to get it is Braden Bachler, and again, he's the only returner that had a catch from last year's team. Bauer and Anderson make the stop.
And I love tight ends. It doesn't matter if it's high school, college, Tecmo Bowl. Remember back in the day, yes. Tight end is always open. It's just hard. You don't see a lot of linebackers who do a lot of coverage, and 6'4", 240. Targeted him 10 times this game.
You said back in the day. I played Tecmo Bowl literally 2 weeks ago.
Two.
I love it. And sometimes I'll just go for 12 straight hours.
There was a tight end play. I want to say it was the Bears, where it was like the game was rigged. You can use the little tight end play, yes. And it was uncoverable if you called the play.
Land in the backfield, 2nd and 4. Trying to earn a first down here, not by penalty. Tollefson will take off, and he's awfully close to the first down. A good spot, and they'll move those chains here for the Stallions, who are starting to get it going here on offense against the Eagles.
Yeah, they're running him a lot, which I knew they might. you know, obviously you don't want your franchise quarterback taking too many shots, but right now that's probably been their most effective offense. Just Tollefson between the tackles, hoping to get 4 or 5 yards.
Got enough for the first down. Why not run him? I mean, he's smooth like butter, like a running back undercover.
I mean, did you see some of those Eagles defensive line and linebackers, the way they can run and hit? That's probably why I wouldn't run with too much. But again, right now you got to go with what's working. He's a tough kid, man. I love his makeup. I just like the way he carries himself. Tough kid.
Blocking in front, they're a little thin. Malachi Vasquez gets a start at the right guard. They thought Enzo Benzan would be in, but he got hurt in the summer. And so they expect him to come back. Here's a timeout. San Juan Hills will spend their first. When we come back, they'll have it first down and 10 back at their own 28, down 2-0. Seventh-ranked Santa Margarita with a 2-0 lead over San Juan Hills. A great atmosphere at the Badlands on the campus of San Juan Hills High School in San Juan Capistrano, a relatively new school established in 2007. The mission ride for the brand and Year of the Stallion 2022. Scholastic Surf Series Division II state champs, boys basketball Division IIA champs, and back in 2019 a football 4A championship.
2019, he had Joey Hobart. Remember Billy Joe Hobart?
Yep.
Played with Mark Brunell at UW back when the Pac-12 was decent. That was a little minor shot, but Billy Joe was such a good dude. Joey, Washington State, signed out of high school, but that was a good team in 2019, San Juan Hills.
Drive continues at the 28. They fake the dive, and the throw on a slant there is incomplete, intended for Colton Chase. His first year on the varsity, a junior. Again, lost 4 senior wide receivers, so they're asking guys like Jack Shigo, Briggs Marquis, Colton Chase, Ryan Schaefer to step up and finally make a catch here on the varsity. A lot of new varsity guys here for the Stallions.
Yeah, tough opener, right? Because again, I mentioned it, those Eagle DBs are pretty good. You know, they say they feel they have 2 or 3 guys that are going to be high-level Power 5 guys playing corner and safety. A little bit early contact maybe, but I'm always a fan of letting them play if there's nothing too egregious.
Santa Margarita won this game, the opener last year. Jackson Potter, 3 TDs, 38-14 was the final. Nick Lopez had 9 catches in that game. And nothing there on second down. They wind up losing yardage right here to bring up a 3rd and long as Tollefson loses 3 here. And a Chiapong, the Michigan commit.
He got in there quick.
He's such a great story, isn't he?
I've never seen, honestly, I've been doing this almost 30 years. I haven't seen too many like it. I mean, he had 40 offers with 0 football film since his freshman film. And his freshman film, honestly, which was just okay, right? Yep. He's playing at a really small school. He came over here to play basketball, and now he's going to Michigan.
It's from Ghana, which is 7,000 miles away. There's a great article about him in the Orange County Register. Dan Albano wrote it. You should check it out. Tollefson Trying to scramble. Now throws off his back foot and got it intercepted. Picked off just shy of the 30-yard line.
It's one of those where kind of from my angle, I'm saying just eat the football. If there was nobody open, kind of forced one in there. And
Blake Wilson got it.
Blake Wilson with the turnover chain.
And, boy, he wore that last year twice. He picked off Butter Tollefson not once but twice a year ago in this game at a different venue.
He did everything right except for the throw, right? He bought some time. He eluded the pressure. Big Tyler Parker up the gut. Get outside the pocket and just throw it away.
So both teams have turned it over now. And there is Wilson. We're playing baseball at Washington in the future. First down and 10. Drive starting at the 34-yard line for the Eagles.
I love two-sport athletes. Should be mandatory. Make them all play something.
Play action, a quick throw, and a connection at the 25-yard line there, and into the awaiting arms of Emmett Mosley.
Mosley can be a game breaker for them. He really can. He's got all the tools, and coaches were talking about him and Trent Mosley. It's such a kind of radically different skill sets and personalities even. One's a freshman, one's a junior. Both of them will be playing football for a long time.
Saw Trent, the freshman, momentarily early in this game on special teams with a return. Big enough pickup to get a first down. Placed the ball at the 23-yard line just outside of the red zone. Jackson Potter out of the shotgun. Going to throw it out right. Mosley has it again in space on this play. On the opening drive, he wound up fumbling it. This time he holds on to it, and they have it right there on the cusp of the red zone at the 20 going in.
Yeah, the game just looks easy for him. Again, elite receiver for me. Make that first guy miss. Maybe make that second guy miss too. Very fluid, very natural. It's the way he plays the game. We saw him playing last year at survey corner, right? I mean, he's got that kind of skill set to play corner or even safety.
In and out of the lineup, though, early in the season, and just wasn't ready for the championship game at the end of the year. There's a throw right, and there was a little miscommunication right there as Mosley cut in and the ball was going out.
And he read out. Emmett ran a slant. 3rd and 7.
And that's what happens when you transfer, right? You get laid in. They have another Servite transfer, Gage Burnett, right? The young linebacker. He has to sit out the first 5 games per CIF rules.
He didn't want to move.
Mosley doesn't have to. They moved,
We didn't want to move. We got 2 years to go. We're good.
Clock stop, 3rd down now. Can the Eagles force a field goal chance here? Potter facing a 4-man rush, rolls out right, flings it. And it's dropped right at the 7-yard line. And it's the freshman Trent Mosley. Couldn't hang on. That would have been a pure 6.
I mean, he walks that into the end zone, right? I think that's a touchdown there. Again, love Potter. Love showing some mobility right there, buying some time, and he's going to walk, maybe not walk in. We saw the free safety right there for San Juan Hills. Might have had something to say about it, but
looks like
Trent wants that back.
Looks like they're going to go for it again here. Not ask Mason Schuster to come out and kick a long field goal. So on 4th down, the first down make is the 13-yard line. They've got to gain 7 here, or the Stallions will turn them over on downs. That's Lindsey Vann, the freshman, in motion. Nobody in the backfield. Here comes the rush, the throw, and there's a penalty marker as it's caught at the 2. And the catch is made there by Kyle Brody, the junior. But we'll see if it's coming back or if there was a pass interference on it. Jeff Roberts will tell us. First time they targeted Kyle Brody here in this game.
.6'4", 235, Kyle Brody, playing some tight end. Listed as a receiver, but he's definitely a tight end.
Might have been some early contact by a defender for San Juan Hills.
Yeah, it's taken. They call that little.
They look like they're ready to get it at the 2 here.
Usually, when it's that long, they call it something on both sides. Yeah.
Ineligible receiver downfield against the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
They get lucky that they can repeat the 4th down here. Now they'll shift some different personnel on, and I think they're going to go for the long field goal here. They run out Mason Schuster. Well, he's going to try this one from about 42 yards out, the hash mark right, just inside of 6 minutes to go. Wouldn't this be something if it was 5-0?
I know Coach Rouge really well. He is so ticked off right now. He's so frustrated. I mean, he probably feels like this game should be about 14-0.
Yep. They're pretty confident coming in. Schuster sends this one into the night, and it is good. What a weapon to have when you're going to play tight games in the Trinity League going forward.
At the high school level, extra points are an adventure. So if you got a guy who can kick a field goal, man, you take that.
42-yarder in the book on the resume for Mason Schuster. Makes it a 5-0 ball game. No, they're still within slam range, I guess.
It's a one-possession game.
It's true. All right. So it's week 0, and we expect a ton of action this year. How about the Max Preps national rankings, and the things that's going to stand out here are 3 teams out of the southern section in that top 10.
Yeah. St. John Bosco, Mater Dei. Bosco's got to play at Allen, Texas. That's the different level of football out there. And Mater Dei plays at Gorman next week. I think it's next week. Number 6. Gorman's legit. Gorman's got some dudes. And Mater Dei and Bosco usually beat you up front. Allen, Texas, Bishop Gorman, they're very strong up front on both sides of the ball. So that'll be both those 2 games will be super intriguing for me.
There was a viral video going around of, I'm not sure if it was the scrimmage that was going on at Allen High School, but the place was packed.
Oh, man.
Perhaps it was a game from last year. Maybe they started a little earlier in Texas. I'm not sure with the heat. However, that place was packed. That's a $60 million stadium.
Yeah,
just
best.
North of Dallas, even more north of Plano. St. John Bosco's there. Blake Wilson to kick off. Chase and Marquis are back deep. Marquis going to field it in the end zone for another touchback. It's coming out to the 20. We told you that San Juan Hills lost 4 senior receivers, 3 of which went to college last year. And speaking of viral videos, you see the catch that Braden Pagan made for UCLA.
He's good. He'll play at UCLA this year probably, and that's a huge loss. Elijah Barclay actually spent a year in Arizona, came back over to San Juan Hills, Nevada, and you have Cole Menach going to San Diego. So, no, you lose those 3 guys, it's definitely going to disrupt your offense quite a bit.
San Diego, the Toreros, an FCS program. Dale Lindsey's their head coach, former NFL coach, Chargers defensive coordinator. He gets him in the playoffs without scholarship players. That's a great program. They're running on first down here on what is San Juan Hills' 4th drive of this first half, and it's the youngster Sullivan Land running into Noah Sullick, the junior, whose father is the school president at Santa Margarita. You look at Land there. They say he's got great vision, avoids contact. Slippery with the and he's going to have to be a little more slippery here on offense to get the Stallions kick-started here.
5'8", 170, so right, a little undersized, but just tough, and again, a little bit of wiggle, runs hard, physical kid.
They're really playing with last year's JV team out here now. Everybody grown up a year. Here is Tollefson, and there's a penalty marker as Tollefson gains the 25-yard line.
Their best offense has pretty much been Tollefson just either straight run or escaping a guy and running on his own. Not much of a flow right now.
Again, a very young team and asking a ton of first-year guys, and they need them all to step up. And they might not all step up here in week 0. LA Times likes him, ranked 17th by the Los Angeles Times in their preseason poll. So you're doing something right.
I think they'll be good. And looking at their depth chart, man, a lot of young kids, a lot of sophomores, juniors. So
holding. Offense, number 62. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, 2nd down.
So that's a senior there with the infraction, but it's also another one of those first-year starters.
Sure.
Aiden Montalban with the infraction.
The best D-line they'll play against all season in week 0 here.
So now both their tackles, Newkirk and Montalban, have had penalties here that have cost their offense. And so now you're looking at a 2nd down and 20 here from back at the 12. And it just seems like San Juan Hills has been pinned back here close to the goal line.
Right? I mean, they haven't had good field position at all. And it's just you're kind of playing uphill the whole game.
Throw right. The catch is made, but not much there. Finding his way out of bounds is Briggs Marquis. And Marquis may play some running back this season too, but another one of those new guys who makes his first catch of the season.
Yeah, I made the joke. I thought it was a typo. I thought it was going to be Marquise Briggs was his actual name. But everything you have to do if you're San Juan has to be quick, right? Everything, you got 2 seconds at the most to get the ball out. So that kind of eliminates half your normal offense. It's got to be a slant or a quick hitter somewhere, or quarterback just taking off and running.
Starting to pick up the tempo a little bit on offense here. 3rd and 13 from back at the 17. Toffelson going to take off here, and he gets upended at the 26-yard line. Still about 3 yards shy of the first down. It's going to be 4th down as Bauer and Anderson again combined on a tackle.
Yeah, again, I wasn't even watching Butter. I was looking at the receiver DBs, kind of that matchup, and just no separation from any of those receiver corners. He kind of looked like he wanted to get the ball down the field, but I think wisely, again, kind of held it.
And they're going to punt for the 3rd time, partner. They've punted 3 times now if Garcia gets this one off, and they've been intercepted. So, again, a work in progress for the Stallions offense.
Number LaRue Zamorano is a corner for Santa Margarita. Just a sophomore. They swear by him. 6'2", 185. Garcia. Mestro back there at safety.
Garcia gets that one off without any trouble, and it's going to check back and be down at the 46-yard line. And that's where the Eagles will take over from their own 46-yard line. Their 4th possession here of this first half.
I just get the feel that they're going to punch one in if they're Santa Monica. They're getting some chunk plays right now. There's guys that are open, but it's always kind of a 2 steps forward, 1 step back with a penalty here or a drop pass here.
I feel like they're getting a little angry right now, right?
I guarantee you.
The beast will awake.
That staff is over there. They're pulling their hair out. But you had a Mosley drop, and you had a nice play down to the 1-2 yard line. You had an illegal man downfield, and just a little bit out of sync.
Drive starts at the 46-yard line. Their own 46, a 1st down and 10. Skylar Lindsey Vann, the good-looking freshman, to the right of Jackson Potter, the UAB-bound quarterback. Not sure I've ever said that about a Southern California kid. And there is Vann getting ahead of scheme, running between the tackles, and he's down at the 47-yard line. A good pickup here. He's down at the Stallions' 47.
You always, for me, looking at running backs, it's how much you get after contact, right? Takes a shot there. Yep. Bullies 2-3 guys. It's called contact balance.
Weston Port finally cleans him up. The 6'2", 225-pound sophomore had 12 tackles in this game a year ago and 2 sacks, and he did that as a freshman captain.
Yeah, did a nice job on him. He's been pretty quiet tonight.
2nd and short. Coming up on exactly 3 minutes to go before halftime.
Yeah, left guard. A half second early.
Jeff Roberts will tell us about it.
Start, number 75 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Simeon Maivea, a senior on the left side. You got it. Perfect. That'll back him up 5 yards. A lot more week 0 self-inflicted wounds for both teams.
Yeah, I saw the Eagles in a lineman competition and really liked him a lot. It was, again, 7-on-7. It's kind of getting old for me, so I went to a lineman competition, Giant Skills, and it was kind of cool. Those guys did really, really well, including Simeon.
Another penalty for Santa Margarita.
Big time throw.
Another drop. My goodness. This time, Bane Eisman, the speed guy, can't haul it in.
You cannot throw the football any better than that right there. That was a big time throw. That's right. As a receiver, you don't want the ball at your chest. You want to be able to reach out, extend your arms for it, hit him right in the hands.
6 penalties for 40 yards for the Eagles. And Potter is just too many drop balls in the early going. It could be 21-0 if they could hang on to 3 more balls. Potter last season as a junior, nearly 3,000 yards passing, 23 touchdowns. He threw it 433 times, the most of any Trinity League quarterback. So he loves slinging it. Big third down here and another penalty marker, and that's going to be a delay of game, I believe.
Why not just
Prior to
use...
snap, delay of game against the offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Yeah, just use a
Seventh
timeout.
penalty for 45 yards here, and we still got 2:32 to go before halftime.
Yeah, and they're never a good penalty, but so many have been like inopportune penalties, right? It's always been just stopping a potential big play, and penalties and drop passes have got to be killing Coach Rouge right now.
They'll get this thing cleaned up, no doubt. They go to Norco next week. That's going to be a battle. Or
Norco's good.
Play Norco.
Norco's very good.
3rd and 13. Potter, pressure coming. He's being chased by 2, and he gets out of bounds right at the 46, his own 46, and another flag comes up.
And I'm not sure last year Potter escapes the pressure. I think he gets sacked probably in the backfield.
You know, they said this season the light bulb has gone on, says his head coach, and he's got to limit the turnovers, be better in the red zone. Penalty decline, so they'll take the result of the play, which will be 4th and long, and so it's time to punt. Blake Wilson comes out. Now you got a chance at some maybe good starting field position if the Stallions can get a return here.
Just so many self-inflicted wounds on that drive, right? Nice run on first down, second down. You have a legal motion on your left guard, right? Then Potter throws an absolute dart, probably about a 25-yard gain. Wide receiver drops it. Just, that's the kind of stuff that just kills you as a coach.
Back deep is Colton Chase. That is a heck of a punt.
Nice kick.
He's going to have to chase this one. It takes a great Eagles bounce. Can they keep it out of the end zone? And they're going to be able to down them right at the 1-yard line.
I thought that thing was going to roll in. I'm like, jump on that thing.
I mean, so much for having great starting field position. Huh? I think I'll just shut my yapper moving forward.
I mean, he's in the end zone. Is that?
No, because the ball doesn't cross, right?
But if you touch the ball and your body's in the end zone?
Great job by Bane Eisman.
I'm going to get a couple text messages from referees right now. Every time I make a comment, I'll get people, that's not this, that.
Coming up at the half on the SoCal Ford halftime report. CIF Southern Football Championships return to the Rose Bowl. We'll talk about that. We're geeked up about that. We'll have those on Bally. Top storylines, too, heading into the 2022 season. And then Joey back on campus. All coming up in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. 5-0 in favor of Santa Margarita. They benefited from a first-quarter safety, a long 42-yard field goal. And they have the Stallions pinned back deep, this time on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, you got to be careful here, right?
Yep, and they're just going to be able to get it out.
Take that. A 3-yard gain.
Jacob Bauer on another stop. He's going to have a dozen tackles before it's all said and done. Carry by the junior Sullivan Land, who was on the JV last year. Had 6 carries in 2 varsity games as well. Pick up 4 there. 2nd and 6. A little bit of breathing room there for Butter Tollefson.
I like these San Juan Hills uniforms. Those are sharp.
Camos are always good, especially when you have white numbers, so you're respectful of the announcers, right? I've done some games where that number would be, green or black, outlined in white. You can't see it. 1:26 and counting to go here in quarter number 2. Tollefson. Sullivan trying to get outside with that vision. And
Don't stop running.
Down shy of the 10-yard line.
2 or 3 more yards there. Just keep running down the field. Get around the corner.
And something they'll see on film tomorrow. Clock will continue to run. Coming up at a minute. And now we have a whistle. And a timeout called by Santa Margarita. Because it's going to be 3rd down and short. They feel like they've got a chance to force them to a punt in a long field. Maybe get it back. And
100%. Absolutely.
Hey, we talked about Carson Palmer, right? The 0-2 Heisman Trophy winner. He is the top quarterback that has come out of Santa Margarita. Although you can argue, Chris Ricks, Johnny Stanton, there's a lot of guys, KJ Costello. KJ. but Carson Palmer was outstanding when he was here.
Yeah, no, I think Carson's track record might be just a little bit better than those guys. I mean, I would put him in my all-time, kind of did a top 5 all-time since we started doing Game of the Week. I had him number 2. Bryce Young was number 1 for me. Mark Sanchez was in there, and Josh Rosen was in there. DJ, we're going to lay, but there's so many gifted quarterbacks. But Carson, man, he was so unique, so special. You kind of saw his drop, the way he held the ball. I mean, he was, again, a little robotic, right? He was super well coached. Bob Johnson had him at an early age. That was when the whole quarterback tuning thing kind of got rolling. But, man, he could throw the football. It was unbelievable watching the ball come out of his hand. It was like shot out of a cannon.
Already looked like an NFL quarterback right
100%.
there.
Yeah. Saw him at a combine at UCLA. Everyone was talking about another quarterback, Jason Thomas, who was a freak athlete. I kept going, wait, what about this guy over here? Who's this guy over here? That's Carson Palmer.
1:06 to go, and we got a whistle and another timeout. This time, San Juan Hills is going to take it.
I never want to beat up on a young kid, but it's 3rd and 3, and that's one of those runs where you want to finish your run, right? You don't want to slow down and kind of lean back into the corner. Run around the corner, get those little yards after contact. It's probably a first down, so this 3rd and 3 play is huge. If you don't get it, now they get the ball back.
Well, while we have a moment, let's take a look at next week's schedule and what's on tap here. And we're going to have a great one. We'll be at Veterans Stadium in Long Beach for Gardena, Serra, and Long Beach Poly. It'll be the 3rd meeting between the two teams in 12 months, and the first 2 have been epic. And then our prep zone games, Santa Margarita appears back-to-back weeks. Amat Wahabra, who just got beat by Upland yesterday, streaming on the Bally Sports app.
Yeah, Amat's good. They got a running back I like a lot, Aiden Ramos. He's a tank. Didn't play last night, but he can go. Sarah Long Beach Poly, everyone talks about the Trinity League. Those 2 teams have more players in the NFL than the whole Trinity League combined. So, athletes all over the field when those 2 teams play.
They met in the regional championship game in December at Serra High School in Gardena. And Malik Thomas, was it? Quarterback. Got him to the championship game, and they won. They're running for a first down, and they get it. And it's Sullivan Land. That's a big first down there. Because now inside of a minute to go, Santa Margarita is not going to want to stop the clock. Ben Durham with the stop here.
Yeah, that's nice blocking up front.
He took your advice, right? He continued to run.
That was Land. I think Land was with. That wasn't him on the other carry, was it?
Yeah, the one that you said he should have
Land?
Gone through more yards. Yeah.
Okay. No. Nice job, Mr. Land.
That's all we've seen. We thought we'd see a little Jeremiah Lindsay, a sophomore, was on the freshman team last year. Maybe he'll get a chance in the second half. Clock is running inside of 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, if you're San Juan Hills, I don't think you go hurry up right now, right? You're content going to halftime 5-0. I watch him do a little play action deep ball, but I don't see it.
Tollefson is going to keep it and run to the 19-yard line. Jacob Bauer with yet another stop. He might get a dozen tackles in his first half here. And I think that's going to be the final play here. And the Stallions at this point, the coaches are going to take their headsets off and be content to go back into the locker room down 1 score. It's still a 1-score game.
Really
5-0. The weirdest game. Weirdest week 0 game I think we've ever had.
The Anna interview with Coach Rouge is going to be entertaining. I'm making a prediction. So I think if you're San Juan Hills, you feel good.
He had a lot of confidence. You know, Coach Rougier had a lot of confidence coming in when we talked to him, and he was at the San Juan scrimmage, right, and thought there were some things they could maybe take advantage of, and it hasn't worked out that way.
There's been plays there, for sure. Credit San Juan Hills, though, right? They're hanging in there and playing tough defensively.
Well, they had 5 possessions, did the Stallions.
And Pete Silby is a great DC. I've known him for a long time. Great strength coach. They had 4 or 5 guys in the 1,000-pound club.
All right, we'll take a break. Having some trouble with Anna's mic. 5-0 Santa Margarita here at the half.
It was just working, too. Like, it was just working moments ago, so.
sorry about that, man. We're blowing it off. Thank you, sorry.
From Arroyo, Puerto Rico.
Never really had barbecue or beef brisket.
Hot mix sausage, Dalco.
Back at the Badlands on the campus of San Juan Hills High School, the Stallions trailing the 7th-ranked team of the state, Santa Margarita, from just up the road here, 5-0. We've had a safety and a long field goal, and that's been it for the Trinity League Santa Margarita Eagles. Time now for the best of Joey back on campus from a year ago. And hey, Joey, you need to come out here to the Bad to the Bone Badlands barbecue pit, brother. Here's the best of Joey.
Never really had barbecue or beef brisket.
Hot mix sausage, Dalco. Brisket, gonna go big or go home, man. This is how we do it. It's the Bronco way.
Here with Beth. I've already told her about my fear of trying food. Beth, what do we have going on over here?
Longanisa sausages. You're making a face. We got some spicy mayo poke. You made a face. You don't eat raw fish, huh?
I gotta tell you, I've never tried pulled pork. I'm good down on that.
Yeah. You ever had fried chicken?
I've never had fried chicken.
There you go.
Believe it or not, I have never had ribs in my life. This is getting very messy very quickly. I've been having...
Oh, I see what he was doing. He's sandbagging everyone to get free food. The Best of Joey back on campus premieres August 31st, 6:30 on Bally Sports SoCal. Prep Zone Live all year. Joey Virgilis and Anna Conley will have a show streaming Wednesdays at 4 p.m. I know Biggie and I and Petros all will have a chance to share our wealth of knowledge as well. That'll be on the Prep Zone Twitter account at Prep Zone. Here at the Badlands, 5-0 Santa Margarita at the break, and the Eagles are going to get it first to start the second half shortly. The Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week is brought to you by SoCal Ford. Southern California Ford dealers are...
Next we have David Stroke. David has been heavily involved in the music program, played in the marching band, pit orchestra, parade band, and wind ensemble all 4 years. After graduating, plans to study mechanical engineering and music at a 4-year university. David Stroke. Next we have
That...
Zach Hendricks.
Oh, turn it off? Off or just down? Okay. Okay, then we'll turn it back on. Hopefully it'll go back on. Okay? Okay.
Logan has Master in History at a four-year university. Logan Benvenido. Next, we have Carson Padilla. Been part of the music program for 4 years. After graduating, plans on attending a four-year university here in California studying mathematics and engineering. Carson Padilla. And finally, we have Calvin Fu. Calvin has played the drums in the music program all 4 years. Favorite memory playing the drums for musical. The four-year university in the East Coast after high school. Calvin Fu. Ladies and gentlemen, the 22-23 senior members of the San Juan Hills music program. Thanks, guys, for performing for us for all 4 years. We really appreciate the music that you brought us.
Yeah, perfect.
The Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week is brought to you by SoCal Ford. Southern California Ford dealers are proud to sponsor high school athletics. Build Ford proud. And by Jack in the Box. Spicy chicken strips are back at Jack in the Box for a limited time, starting at just $5.49. Well, very much a week 0 game so far between Santa Margarita and San Juan Hills. We've got penalties, drop balls, a whole lot of ugliness so far. 5-0 Santa Margarita. All right, let's take a look at 1935 Southern California CIF Championship game, Rose Bowl, because the championship game in Division I this year, Biggie, will be held at the Rose Bowl. I'm excited as heck over Thanksgiving weekend. Do you remember anything about this game? Did you cover it at all?
I remember nothing about that game. I've only been to the Rose Bowl a handful of times for high school football. DeAnthony Thomas, back in his Crenshaw days, I did a game there, so it's a pretty majestic place, yeah?
Yeah, without question. And the Rose Bowl Legacy Foundation has announced the inaugural class for the California High School Football Hall of Fame. 100 players, 13 coaches. Carson Palmer, we showed that video in the first half. Carson Palmer is included in those 100 players.
God, Marcus Allen was my idol growing up when I was a young football fan watching USC. John Elway, he was decent at football, right? Ronnie Lott. And
oh, yeah.
How great was Jackie Robinson? I was just watching the movie 42 early this week.
Wait a minute. So Marcus Allen, hey, look, like you at Fullerton, I kind of like Damon Allen better, to be quite honest with you.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Go with
Cal
that.
State Fullerton quarterback
Titans.
and great CFL. One day he'll be in there, too. How about your top storylines here? And there are plenty here as we start the 2022 season.
Yeah, so can anyone knock off those two monsters? Quick answer would probably be no, right? Last year, obviously, Servite beat Bosco, and I have so much respect for Matt Logan at Centennial to say they don't have a chance to play with those two teams. I just think both those two teams are so strong up front. You know, look at Bosco and that monster right there, Mateo. I'm going to lay. Pierce Clarkson will be the guy this year by himself, but they're so strong up front. And then Mater Dei, again, men among men in the trenches. And they don't just go 5-6 deep. They have literally 20 guys up front that can go. And Elijah Brown, one of my favorite quarterbacks, just smooth and polished. A little young wide receiver core, but I love the two running backs they have, Jordan Davidson and Ajon Bryant. So I think both those two teams, I don't see any of them. Either Centennial, Los Al, Mission, I just don't see it. I think those two teams will play twice this year. So yeah, final and the league game.
And Elijah Brown still hasn't lost a game as a varsity starter. And then 1 versus 2 will be October the 7th, perhaps at SoFi Stadium. So we got a chance maybe to call a game at SoFi Stadium and the Rose Bowl here this year. Malachi Nelson, who we talked about, Los Al, just got signed with Clutch Sports.
Yes.
And Nico Maliaba as well. Was at Long Beach Poly and now is back at Warren where he was last year.
Yeah, now I'm going to make a bold statement. These two guys just aren't the two best in California. You can make a strong case. These are the two best in the country. And I love this quarterback class. Arch Manning is legit. People will rip on him. Oh, this is his last name. No, people who say that have no clue talking about football. Arch is good. And so is Dante Moore from Michigan. But these two guys are both very special, very unique. You know, Nico just right there, boom, quick release, able to run around, make plays. Malachi Nelson for me, 3rd and 8. You need a ball in a tight window. I think Malachi's the guy, probably the best pure passer. So those two guys will be competing, not just with the best in California, but I'm talking about the whole state of the country.
Yep. Nico going to Tennessee.
Yep.
A non-Division I game that you're most looking forward to. I mean, I love doing that Downey-Warren game. Last year, what's you think the best Division I game?
You just kind of stole my thunder. Yeah, Downey Warren.
Back?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I just because Nico, and then we didn't get to see Aiden Childs for Downey High School.
Oregon State,
He's
right?
going to Oregon. He's good. Like, he is really good. And I think those are going to be two of the top quarterbacks. I'm a quarterback guy, so watching those two guys go back and forth with that crazy rivalry.
Well, the atmosphere was unbelievable there, right?
Yep.
We were fed well. It was awesome. All right, 5-0 here. The number 7th ranked team in the state of California, led by Collins and Chiapong, a Michigan commit. Eagles with a 5-0 lead at the half. Well, I said it once, I'll say it again. Every bit a week 0 game with plenty of penalties and drop balls. Very little flow to it as we take a look at our first half stats. In that box there, that gold box, right? 7 penalties, 45 yards for the Eagles, who continue to shoot themselves in the foot.
Man, I think the thing that jumps out for me, especially from, talking to Coach Ruse, was the rushing yards, right? They thought that was going to be a big edge for them, and just smash mouth, bully ball, and up front, just those 3 or 4 running backs and big offensive line. 22 rushing yards. That's shocking for me.
Again, they have no Jake Foy, who's going to be their starter, almost 200 yards from scrimmage a year ago versus San Juan Hills. He's out with mono. It's all about the defense for the Eagles, and that's why they've got a 5-0 lead.
Oh, the defense played well, right? They fly around. I like the linebackers. The corners are covering guys, and the big D-line up front is legit. I think San Juan Hills is playing without a couple O-line starters as well. Not a lot of time for Tollefson. So right now, I think if you're the Eagles defense coaches, you're feeling pretty good offensively. A little challenged.
Santa Margarita with 4 sacks in that first half. All right, Anna's now with San Juan Hills head coach Robert Frith.
Coach, what did you say to your guys in the locker room?
That I'm very proud of them. That for 24 minutes we went out there and we battled and we go toe-to-toe with a very good Trinity League football team in a wonderful setting at home in front of all of our fans. And just, go out there in the second half. You win the second half, you win the game. We're right in this thing. Our defense is playing inspired.
I've been watching Butter every time he comes off of the field. What can you say about his composure tonight?
Heart of a lion. He's out there battling. And they're a very good football team. They're a very good defense. And he's out there battling his tail off. And so he's our leader on offense. He's giving us all he's got. He's going to go win the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Anna, Robert, thank you very much. I used to cover the Chargers, and Marty Schottenheimer, the late head coach, he always would say, all you got to do is make one more play than the opponent, right? It's getting the feeling here. You're still down only one score. You make one more play than Santa Margarita, and you win this game.
I like Rob a lot. He's going to go win the game. I love that confidence, right? And like he said, man, they're playing. They're playing hard. So I think we've been talking maybe too much about what Santa Margarita's not doing right. We got to credit San Juan Hills because defensively they're flying around. And Tollefson right there, man. I love, again, the toughness he's showing, the courage, the grit. I'm a fan of quarterbacks like that. I don't want a pretty boy, prima donna, pocket guy. I want a dude who can run around and take some. I want to see some blood and guts on his jersey. I'll go to Ward Butter any day.
Just a sophomore playing in this game for the second time. Santa Margarita, the Eagles are going to get it first here to start the second half of play. So you're going to ask this defense for the Stallions again to put up another wall, another curtain, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, cliche time, but the first drive is huge, right? I mean, obviously, if you're Santa Margarita, I guarantee you, I know Coach Rouge, he's going to go in there, and he probably tore the whole paint off the inside of that locker room at halftime. And he probably wants them to establish, hey, we're bigger. Let's try to show that we're tougher as well. I'm expecting some, ground and pound, and then they're going to probably try to run the ball. And if you're San Juan Hills, man, stack that box, right? Stack the box and try to see if you can man up, which they have been able to do. So, opening drive, I'm fascinated by it.
Well, with all the departures at Servite from last season, all the attrition there, the Eagles and I think Orange Lutheran could make a solid bid here for the third spot in the Trinity League. I know it's something that when we talked to Coach Rougier the other day, he didn't really want to talk about that. He says we play those two teams, St. John Bosco and Mater Dei, at the end of the year, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You could come in healthy, they could be banged up, or vice versa, but they've got the opportunity at least.
Yep. And that's what he said. Also, he goes, we're not as deep as those teams, but like our top 22, I'll take them. I'll take those guys. It's just, again, Mater Dei and Bosco are so deep, but long ways away from that. They got to win this one right now, right?
Yeah, first things first. They won 6 games a year ago, 2 of them in the Trinity League. They lost in the Division I postseason, had to play Servite again, and they lost to that Servite team last year, which lost to Mater Dei in the championship. And Servite really was the story. They were kind of the darlings of the southern section.
You liked them because they had a couple of Arizona commits. Come on now, let's keep it real.
We were able to flip T-Mac, so that was good. He was going to Oregon at the time.
That was a fun team.
Yeah.
It really was, and I've been a longtime fan of Troy and how hard they're still going to play. I don't want to throw dirt on Servite's grade. They're still going to come out and play hard and tough because that's how Troy is. But yeah, I think Santa Margarita, coming into the season, I had them penciled in as my number 3 team in that league. We'll see. Lou, I like Coach Sherman a lot as well.
Teeing it up.
Jay Serra.
Ben Garcia.
Got to at least mention Scott McKnight and Jay Serra. I don't want the Lions to be upset at me.
Building.
It's a great league.
Won CIF in baseball this year, so they got a title on campus there. Here's Garcia, who also acts as the punter to kick this one off. Saw Emmett Mosley wearing number 10 back deep for the Santa Margarita Eagles, who have a long 42-yard field goal and a safety on the resume in this one. And they lead it 5-0. Headed to Emmett Mosley. He's got it inside the 10. Finds a seam and gets out to the 33-yard line. And it's Ryan Agani who makes the special team stop.
I thought there was something there. I thought just kind of the way that I saw a nice little lane for him. I thought that might have been a big return, but nice job by San Juan Hills keeping it just to a relatively short gain.
So Jackson Potter, his body of work in that first half, and I think you could make the argument those 4 were all drops.
I know. I remember at least 2 for sure, and the other 2.
The one to Nico Lopez, right?
Yeah.
It was in double coverage, too.
Go catch that one. No, I think Jackson's been good. I'm really happy to see the way he played.
Being pushed a little bit by Beckham Kritza, who's a transfer from Colorado, not yet eligible. They're running on first down, and it's Skylar Lindsey Van, the freshman. A little bit of a gain there of 3, well, make it 5 yards now. We're going to bring up a second down at 5.
Coach Rouge texted me a couple weeks ago and just sent me his film and said, hey, I got a guy. You got to see him. And I'm like, I already know who he is. He played for the Ducks. But no, he loves this kid.
Picking up the tempo now, and that is Mosley again there on that far sideline. And so the Servite transfer's got another catch and one for a first down.
And that's what you do. I think if you want to get their offense going, and that's for all sports, right? I think you kind of increase the tempo a little bit, try to get some kind of a rhythm right there, and a couple plus plays on first and second down.
That's what the Stallions were trying to do. They took their time in the early going on at least their first 2 or 3 drives of that first half. Up near midfield at their own 49-yard line. Potter under center now. Mosley moving. Play action fake. They roll it out. They get it to Mosley, and then he dropped it again. My goodness. This is something else. Just chalk it up to week 0, I guess. But after a while, you're going to stop making excuses, right?
Yeah, no excuses. Again, for me, just kind of what I do. I'm looking at guys who have NFL potential. I mean, Emmett Mosley's a guy who's been in our, top 247 since he was a freshman. So he's got to make that play and then make a guy miss and do something big with the football.
Junior, still got a couple of years to go.
And he would agree with me. I'm not piling on Emmett. Like, he knows how good he is and how talented he is. Nico Lopez has been a little quiet. Other than that, that drop he had, I'd like to see him get more involved in the offense.
2nd and 10, they show blitz. They bring it with Jaworski, and beating that blitz and getting a first down run there and doing a great job is the sophomore, Lee Fui Ma'ano. San Clemente transfer.
Talk about getting downhill. That's 6'1", 210 pounds. And I was watching all 3 of those Eagle running backs in warm-ups, man. They're all big, bulky, really good-looking kids.
He grew up in Las Vegas. They were actually waiting on clearance last week when we had our conference call. They weren't quite sure if he was going to be eligible. And boy, did they need him, because Jake Foy is out with mono. They take their time. They're going to run it one more time, and it is the sophomore again. Let's check in with Anna.
Steve, now, I didn't get an interview with Coach Rouzier at the half due to technical difficulties, but as I was sitting there waiting for my technical difficulties, figuring it out, I turned around and he had pulled aside all of his team captains, and he was pretty emotional about talking about that first half and what they needed to do coming out in the second. A lot of penalties in that first half, and obviously some dropped balls in that first half. Just dropped a ball on these last 2 plays, but he's very emotional with his team, and when they came out on the sidelines in the second half, the energy was a little bit different down here.
I agree. You could see it, and nothing there. How about the play of the inside linebacker, Jake Jaworski? Man, the junior he's really kind of upstanding Weston Port here.
That's just a great football name, right? If your name is Jake Jaworski, you're going to make plays like that. Both those 2 inside backers, he said they're almost like clones, Coach Rob Fripp. Both about 6 feet, 195. They just play, right? High motor guys that just play, all effort guys. I love it.
That was Chase Jones on the carry, his first game, and that is the 4th running back that the Eagles have had to use now with Jake Foy out in this week 0 game. 3rd and 9. This is where they've had the issues with the drop ball. Port was rushing, and they're going to take a shot for the end zone, trying to come back to get it. Did he get it? And they say yes, the catch is made by Bane Eisman right down by the goal line. Wow, he got that one right off the turf as Potter threw it right on the money.
I'm going to wait for the replay before I make a comment.
I'm thinking that they're glad that there's no replay in high school football. Let's see. Get a better view here. Well, I think Eisman picked it off the turf right before it got onto the turf.
And if he did, that was a heck of a catch.
Most certainly was. They mark him down at the 3-yard line. Fui Ma'ano is in the backfield. They're going to hand it to him. He tries to move left, and down he goes at the 5-yard line. Levi Kreider, a first-year starter. JV is a junior with a stop. Here's the catch again. Better angle. Well, it certainly wasn't down at the 3-yard line, I'll tell you that much.
You have better eyes than I do. I honestly, that was hard for me to tell. I saw some of that black, powder. Turf coming
You're
up.
happy that happens in week 0 and you can recover from it, then maybe it happening right in a championship game.
I saw some pebbles coming up, but again, that might have just been his hands making that pop.
It's out of 8 minutes to go. 2nd and goal. Potter is being harassed by Port, throws off his back foot, and it's incomplete. Nobody in the area now. Are they going to flag him? The pressure was coming from Weston Port.
Yeah, that would be a tough grounding call. May not have been a receiver anywhere in the vicinity.
Let's see, they're talking about it right now. Jeff Roberts and one of the other officials. Jeff Roberts wears the white hat. He's our referee. A 3rd referee comes over now. Watch this. Here's Port in pursuit.
Port came clean. Again, nice job by Potter to kind of sidestep him.
And now they throw the late flag. That's going to be intentional grounding on a 3rd and goal at the 5.
Yeah, that's down and yardage, yeah?
Intentional grounding. Offense number 5. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, and it's a loss of down. Brings up 3rd down.
I was just going to say, this would be a great chance, a great time in the game for Weston Port. Kind of rise up a little bit and make a big play. Had a chance. Had Potter right there, dead to right. Potter did a nice job of kind of sidestepping him, but
he's going to get him by the end of the night, I would say. So the officials talked about the grounding. I misspoke. It's 3rd and goal now from back at the 27-yard line. They'd already moved it. That was a 2nd down play, so a loss of down.
So I don't think you need to put this in the end zone right now. I would say it's almost 4 down territory if you get about 10 yards, 15 yards on this 3rd down play.
Yep. Well, you'd like to get somebody in space, right? One of the Mosleys here and let them do their thing. But, again, we've had a lot of drop balls. Here's
Mosley's, Lopez.
There's some debate now about the down. They have it at 3rd and goal. So, officially, it's 3rd and goal from the 32-yard line. I don't care what league you're in. Trinity League, this is awfully hard to convert here. 7:31 to go in the 3rd. And so that loss of down there on the intentional grounding cost them dearly because they had that ball at the 3-yard line on a 1st and goal. And credit the Stallions defense again. 3rd and goal. Back at the 27, actually. Potter eludes the pressure, throws on the run, and it's Lopez with a catch. And it's going to be 4th and goal down around the 3-yard line. And the Colorado State-bound Ram has one of the bigger catches here for the Eagles tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be the go-to guy. I love the Mosley brothers, but I think Lopez is probably the most talented guy right now. And again, I like the subtle pocket movement from Potter. Eyes down the field, right? Steps up, climbs the pocket, throws an absolute dart.
And guess what? Another penalty.
My goodness.
That's their 9th penalty of the game. Remember, they had 7 for 45 yards in the first half.
You can see a flag fly up in the air.
This one marches it all the way back to the 43-yard line. This is unbelievable here tonight, leaving the door wide open for the Stallions. Jeff Roberts, a busy man. I didn't see exactly what they called. We were in the middle of that replay there. They're going to replay the down. They have it at 3rd and goal now. Back at the 43-yard line, and that's a hold officially. So goes on a hold to spring Lopez wide open down near the goal line.
Now you're just hoping to get in field goal range, right?
Yeah.
Probably need a 44-yard line, 43. Probably need a 20-yard.
Schuster made one from 42 earlier. They get it into the hands of Mosley, trying to get him in space. He's brought down at the 32-yard line. It's going to be 4th and goal from back at the 32-yard line. And they're going to let Schuster attempt another long one. Again, he hit the 42-yarder back in the 2nd quarter to make it 5-0. This thing's going to be back here at 48 yards. Same hash mark that he hit earlier. And he had plenty of leg on the 42-yarder, to be quite honest with you.
In high school, one thing you see, the holder was so much closer to the line of scrimmage than in watching a college or NFL game.
Still, it would be a one-possession game if he gets it. Gets a big leg into it. I'm not sure it's going to have the distance. Nope. It doesn't. It's short, and the Stallions hold again. Folks, it was 1st and goal at the 3-yard line, and they keep a Trinity League team ranked 7th in California out of the end zone. Right? So at one point on that drive, it was 1st and goal from the 3, and the Stallions, now of course the Eagles had a little bit to do with this too, with the penalties and all, but they backed them up to a 4th and goal from around the 40-yard line. How about that? And boy, I think as you're showing me a score right here, that's Rancho Cucamonga on top of Servite.
We did those 5 storylines. The one we didn't get to is my sleeper team. It was actually going to be I promise I'm not just saying this, our fearless producer.
Butter Tollefson with a run.
Well, vouch for me. I said, watch out for Rancho Cucamonga this year. I think the Cougs got something going on over there.
27-0.
Over. Defend me here.
Rancho Cucamonga heading to the 4th quarter. That's a Servite home game, I believe, correct?
Yeah, that's a Servite beatdown right there. It's been a few years since we've seen that, but again, the Cougs are good.
So now you're starting to think, all right, who is that 3rd team going to be in the Trinity League? Will it be the Santa Margarita team if they clean up the penalties and catch balls? Will it be Orange Lutheran, who's a defending section champ and played in a regional championship game? As long as Lucky Sutton isn't playing against Orange Lutheran, they're going to be all right. Short run on 2nd down. Sullivan Land, another carry, runs into Jacob Bauer again. And so now they got to try and convert another 3rd down. And again, San Juan Hills, with their first drive of this 3rd quarter, they have not gotten it into Santa Margarita territory yet in this ballgame.
That's a great stat.
I mean, they haven't even been close, to be quite honest with you. Not sure they've even gotten the ball across their own 30.
And some of that is just their starting field position wasn't great to begin with. A couple times in their own 10-yard line.
They had a drive start at the 1-yard line, right? At the end of that first half.
And with the rampant transferring, I'm surprised a couple receivers didn't want to come.
Prior to the snap, false start against the offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
False start on Colton Chase, the junior, first-year varsity.
If I'm a receiver, I want to play with Butter Tollefson. Not that I'm advocating transfer. I'm a player in your neighborhood school. That's kind of how I was raised, but kind of the world we live in right now, right?
Back him up 5 yards to a 3rd down and 9. That's hard to convert against this Eagles defense, which has Collins at Chiapong, a Michigan commit coming from one edge, LeVar Talley the other. Bauer making plays. They're going to add Gage Burnett here
Gage
after
can go.
5 games.
Gabe's a banger. LaRue Zamorano, number 6. I'm really loving the way he plays. Man, he's 6'1", long, and real flow in the way he moves around.
Tollefson trying to scramble here. He cuts back, and he's going to be short of the first down.
Half yard.
Yep, they're going to be 1 of 5 now on third downs, and now Robert Frith has a decision to make here.
I always say, man, what would Matt, remember those, what would Jesus do? What would Matt Logan do?
Yep.
He's going for it. I'm not advocating that because I love the way San Juan Hills is playing defense, but, man, you're a yard short.
Can you dig down deep and get the ball across the 30 to keep the drive going?
They've been running the ball a little bit, whether it be Butter on the quarterback draw or even running land to the left side of the offensive line. You're kind of getting second guess either way here, but I love an aggressive coach, man. I was high school football, just let it all hang out, right?
Huge fourth down now, and they're going to have to spend a timeout.
I'm okay with that timeout.
Way too much time.
I'm good with that timeout.
Well, you know the city we're in here, San Juan Capistrano. We've got fun facts about way down here in South Orange County. It was founded in 1776, San Juan Capistrano. The mission's not too far from where the Amtrak coastliner comes through. Site of the Mission San Juan Capistrano, site of the oldest residential neighborhood, Los Rios. And right down the street, are you a big fan of dressage, an Olympic sport with the horses?
No, I'm not familiar with that. I did see the horses. I thought you were going to I'm a fan of massage. I'll take one of those. But this is beautiful, buddy. Man. It's beautiful out here. Yeah, I love Huntington Beach. I always say the more south you go, the better. A little nicer. Get Newport. Yep. You got San Juan. You got Laguna area.
Still a lot of area to build, too. The horses, everybody was going crazy here. About 200 yards from the campus just to the north. As you go towards Mission Viejo is where all the horse action was going. It was going off today. A lot of horse jumping. So they're going to go for it here on 4th down and 1 from back of the own 29.
I like Coach Rob going for it. You're telling your players you believe in them. So even if you don't get it and you get stopped, you know what? You went for it.
Santa Margarita puts a lot in the box there. Tollefson takes the high snap. He runs for it, and he looks like he got across the 30 for the first down.
I think he got it. Little high snap, little slow developing play, but Tollefson, I like it. Man, that's a tough kid.
Even though they haven't gotten the ball into Santa Margarita territory, they have 69 yards rushing in this game. Big first down. You're going to keep it away from Santa Margarita probably until the fourth quarter here. And again, it's a one-score game. That's all you can ask for, right?
You just want to just hang around. If you're kind of that underdog, not calling him a Cinderella, but just maybe an underdog, you just kind of want to hang around and give yourself a chance at the end.
I'd throw to the tight end, Braden Bachler, here. First down and 10. They fake the dive. Taken off is Tollefson. And he gets a couple of yards to his own 33.
And if you see Tollefson playing in some of these camps, saw him at a few of them, Under Armour, or even watching him play some 7-on-7, man, he's a pure thrower. Throws a pretty ball, quick release. Watching him tonight, kind of the slugfest, right? Just kind of like one of those games where just, kind of just grit and grind it out there. I mean, just seeing him in a different way for me, it's very unique.
If we come back here in 2 years, he'll be a totally different quarterback as a senior. 2nd and 7. Inside now, 2 minutes to go here in this third quarter, a one-score game. And here is Land emerging, and the ball is out, and it's still out. And the Eagles say they've got it, and Santa Margarita is going to come away with this football here. How about that? I think that's Blake Wilson. Nope. It's Jacob Bauer who came away with it.
Jacob Bauer's been active. I feel like there was a San Juan Hills player that was right there. I thought he was going to fall on it.
See, does Donovan Comestro get here first? Let's see. Yep, he's the one who knocks it out, strips it out. And then it gets covered up by Jacob Bauer, who's having himself an all-league night.
That's Comestro just making a football play. He's a really good-looking player as well.
Second turnover of the football game here for San Juan Hills. They had an interception thrown in the first half. And so they give it to the Eagles in plus territory at the Stallions' 29-yard line, and they give Jackson Potter another opportunity here. This time under center on first down. He just pitches it out to Lindsey Van. He cuts back, and nothing there. This Stallions defense has built an iron curtain here. And the first to get there again was Jaworski. Again, they've got Weston Port there. Where's number 13? One of the best football players Rob Frith has ever seen. And remember what Rob did at El Toro. And he's been around in these parts. And Weston Port, just 15 years old. And we've got an injured player down on the field for the Stallions.
I'm not a doctor, but that's usually what you do for a cramp, which is good to see. Take a cramp over a pulled muscle any day. But I was going to say, man, that first guy does not bring him down.
Can't get a look at the number of who's down here, but a stoppage with 1 minute and 21 seconds to go here in the third. There's Weston Port that we talked about, just 15 years old. Had to get a parent consent last year at 14 years old to play in this rivalry game.
Yeah, again, I'm watching him. I'm always trying to project. Okay, what does he play in college? Does he slide inside? Is he going to be an inside linebacker? In 6'2", it might be closer to 6'1.5", but he's going to probably be 240, so you're a little too short for an edge rusher. You know, he can play some strong or weak side linebacker. Again, maybe even slide him inside and play inside if he wanted. So he's got some versatility. He's got some growth potential because he is so young still.
Dylan Wershing was the injured player. Back to Port for a moment. His freshman year, 91 tackles, 25 of them for a loss. He had 12 sacks as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And he said the parochial schools in the area approached him. And he's just like, no.
That doesn't happen, does it?
Yeah. He said, I wanted to be with my friends. Now, still got a couple of years to go, right? A lot could change. Maybe we get him one of those clutch sports deals like Malachi Nelson got. But he said, I want to be around my friends. And
shoot, man, that's what high school is all about. Right?
How could you not love this atmosphere, too? All right, 2nd down and 10 now from the 29-yard line. Eagles looking for their first score of the game offensively that isn't a field goal, and that pass is incomplete. They're looking for Lopez again. They've targeted him at least 3 times in the game.
Yeah, a little bit more than they did in the first half, I think.
Yep. Had the big catch down at the 1-yard line. They got wiped out by a hold. You like Potter? I mean, he's going to UAB.
I do, yeah. No.
They'd almost dropped their program a few years ago, right? Was able to get some funding. And
I was shocked. That was literally his first offer, and it came in July, right? And, again, he's got plenty of film, and just watching him tonight, I feel like he's gotten better in every way. Escapability, athleticism, poise, accuracy. It's all been there for me to see.
Like to see that from a senior getting a late look at a scholarship. On 3rd down now, has plenty of time, fires into triple coverage, and it's incomplete. Ryan Hagani got his mitts on that one. That time downfield, they were looking for Brandon Brom.
He actually had Bane Eisman kind of running a little curl route around the 15-yard line, and he was running like he was open.
3rd field goal attempt of the game here, and another long one. This one from 45 yards out, but straight away by Mason Schuster. He's hit a 42-yarder. Missed from 48 yards. This one is going to come up short again. And the Stallions defense holds one more time. This is remarkable. Now your offense has got to get something going. Now, Schuster absorbed some contact there,
yeah. He did.
Let's see. Was it warranted to throw a flag? Well, look, there was some contact made right there.
That's running into the kicker. I don't know if it's roughing the kicker, but I think it's probably running into the kicker, which I'm not sure that would have been a first down anyway, but at least they could have re-kicked it.
Boy, this is something else as they get it back. Remember last season, Santa Margarita won this thing 38-14. Jackson Potter had 3 touchdown passes. Nico Lopez caught 9 balls. Jake Foy, who's out due to illness, had almost 200 yards from scrimmage, and the Stallions defense has grown up.
Stallions defense is playing great. If you're offensively, you don't have a lot of options, right? You're almost kind of playing with one hand behind your back.
Sullivan Land has got some room here, and that's by far his best run of the night. And the ball pops out here, but they're going to rule him down here after a gain of 8 yards.
Yeah, from a passing standpoint, you don't have a lot of things you can do because you have to get the ball out so quickly. I like Bachler at tight end, using him. Or you just straight try to run the football against a pretty big front. Or you have Butter on his own. That's your offense.
Land took some big contact back there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think the ball was out.
Yeah, they ruled him down, though. I think Jake Jaworski is going to come in to spell Land here for a moment, who took a big hit. This will be the final play of the third quarter, and Jaworski has it, bounces off a tackler, and goes down for no gain. So a big third down and short coming up for San Juan Hills when we come back to start the fourth quarter tonight here in South Orange County. How about this story brewing here? Only a 5-0 lead for Santa Margarita. Start of the fourth quarter, one-score game between 7th-ranked Santa Margarita and San Juan Hills. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine when the Thompson brothers played for Santa Margarita on our Alumni Watch. That's Clay Thompson. Ooh, he had that shot back then.
That jumper looks exactly like it does now with the Warriors.
4-time NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors. And again, had the Achilles, right, that he came back from to win another title. And then there are the Mosley brothers playing for Santa Margarita. Another set of brothers. There's Trace Thompson that now plays for the Dodgers, might wind up winning a ring.
But the Finneran twins, I'm going to go old school. Those guys are studs. Brad and Brian Finneran, basketball, football.
Third and short for San Juan Hills to open up the fourth quarter here. They haven't scored. They haven't even been in Santa Margarita Eagles territory yet. Tackle Aiden Montalban was shaken up, number 62, between quarters. And Tollefson, that play did not develop the way they thought it would be. Penetration, again, it's Big Bauer in there, and Tollefson is thrown for a loss. Going to bring up fourth down. They got to punt it away as Garcia comes on.
That one was doomed from the beginning.
Also in there,
Bauer.
Noah
How
Sullivan.
many times have we called Bauer's name?
Like I said, it's got to be a dozen tackles, much like Weston Port had. Again, this defense, too, will get Gage Burnett. Talking about a spoil of riches, the Servite transfer after 5 games, so they'll have him in time for the Trinity League. Garcia's had some trouble with some punts. One resulted in the opening score, a safety for Santa Margarita. And there's another issue with the punt. Garcia's going to try and run it out. He gets it out to the 10-yard line. Oh, that could have been disastrous and made it a 7-0 ball game. Still semi-disastrous right there. They got something to work on all day tomorrow.
And I was getting ready to say, just give me a good snap. Easy for me to say from up here, but right there I'm saying, okay, can you punt it? Can you just kick it somewhere?
Do like
so if they score a touchdown.
Style.
If they score a touchdown here, it's almost better just give them a safety, right?
Yeah, without question. So great starting field position for the Eagles now. Now they have had it first and goal at the 3-yard line, right? And then all of a sudden we're looking at, because of self-inflicted wounds, a 4th and goal from around the 40-yard line. So this is not a done deal here yet. Nothing's guaranteed. Lindsey Vann starts in the backfield behind Potter. 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. They get it to, no, that's actually Torian Nash, and Nash is down near the goal line. He gets stopped. Got a stable of backs. They've used 4 different guys here in place of Jake Foy. That brings up 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line.
Yeah, Nash is 210 pounds also. I mean, all those guys are 200-pound, just between the tackle bangers who run a little bit of an attitude.
Might we see our first touchdown here in week 0 in this game? Remaining in the game is Nash. 2nd and goal from the 1. That's Lopez in motion, and taking it himself is Potter. He's across the goal line. No signal yet, and now he's in. Touchdown.
And his whole entire body was in the end zone. It was taking so long right there. Probably were kind of shocked to see somebody in the end zone, right?
So they take advantage of another miscue on the special teams and finally stretch it out to a 2-possession game.
Such a weird game. Special teams, man. Good for Jax.
The bad snap. Garcia able to get it out to the 10-yard line, and a few plays later into the end zone goes Potter for the game's first touchdown. And that comes 47 seconds into the 4th quarter, and it's a real deflator here at the Badlands because the way their offense has been operating.
I'm just thinking that exact same thing. If you're playing on that defense, you're playing so good and so hard, man. Just how deflated are you right now?
They're going to go for 2. I've never called an 11-0 ball game. All the years I've been doing this. This Lopez in motion again. Potter with court coming, throws left, and he got knocked down. The 2-point conversion not happening thanks to the great play right there by Ryan Agani. First touchdown on the board comes in the opening moments of the 4th quarter. Santa Margarita stretched it out to an 11-0 lead. Well, we're already looking ahead to next week here It'll be week number 1 officially in the southern section, and Sarah and Long Beach Poly, a rematch of the regional championship game from December. And then our prep zone games, Norco, Santa Margarita. We'll highlight that there. Blake Wilson to kick this one deep.
Again, real quick, Sarah is up on Olu, 26-20 right now.
Wow.
A couple minutes left in the game, yeah. I think Rod Pleasant might have had a pick 6 in that one. Poly won big last night. Darius Curry, Jason Robinson, Dylan Williams.
All Wilson has done is kicked him into the end zone. This one's going to be returnable.
Uh-oh.
Running up to get it was Marquis. He lost it, but Colton Chase is there to get it and returns it out near the 20-yard line. And so back on comes the Stallions offense, who is yet to possess the ball in Eagles territory tonight. As a matter of fact, Biggie, this is just their second drive of the second half. They had one drive, and that was it in the third quarter.
Captain Obvious statement. It might be a good time to put some points on the board right now, right? If you're San Juan Hills.
Their only drive of the second half came in the middle of the third quarter, and they wound up fumbling the football away. 11-0 is the score.
Yeah, I do feel at some point with that quarterback, they're going to be a pretty prolific throwing team. Just missing a couple O-line starters, and that D-line for Santa Margarita is good.
Out of the pistol here, now an empty backfield as they send Sullivan Land in motion, and Tollefson takes off shy of the 30-yard line. Let's check in with Anna, who has a story about Teen Hulk. Anna.
Hurry up.
So, Steve, earlier this year, Tyler Parker, number 99 in white, posted a picture online of him flexing in the weight room, and it, of course, went viral. Now, keep in mind that Tyler is 6 foot, 300 pounds, and only a sophomore. He's 14 when all of this went down. Now, a lot of news outlets caught wind of it, including Access Hollywood's Mario Lopez, and earlier this month, he actually went on to Access Hollywood with Mario Lopez. Now, Tyler also has his own YouTube channel with a couple thousand subscribers. It actually does pretty well. And he posts his own vlogs, including behind-the-scenes footage of him appearing on Access Hollywood. So check that out if you guys have a time. And he has coined himself. He explains how he went viral on his YouTube channel and how he got coined Teen Hulk.
Thank you, Anna. That was a great catch there by Colton Chase for a first down. Got a whole diet of Tollefson so far on this drive. They're getting close to midfield here. Here comes the pressure. And down back at the 32-yard line for a loss goes Tollefson. And LeVar Talley is in there, and that's the 5th time that they've sacked him. Make it the 6th time they've sacked him in this game.
Yeah, flushed him, and then up front between the tackles, they had 2 guys right there waiting. Not much room for Butter to operate there, but nice play on the previous play. Tyler Parker, just to finish the thought on Anna, really good kid. Really good kid.
Giapong with the pressure, the throw back to the 40-yard line, and there's 2 penalty markers. They were looking for Chase, and there was an early hit by LaRue Zamorano. See what this penalty is. May give first down here. Let's see, it is 2nd and 13, so if it's a 10-yard penalty, it won't be the automatic first down. Especially if it turns out to be a pass interference now. It'll be a 15-yard penalty, so they would get the first down. Jeff Roberts.
During the play, holding. Defense, number 8. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
Yeah, Ben Durham with the hold. Another penalty against the Eagles. See that hold downfield.
Kind of a needless penalty, right? I mean, it's a good call, but kind of needless. You didn't need to do that. You already had pretty good coverage. And
that's 10 penalties now for 93 yards. So it wasn't LaRue Zamorano over there in the coverage. It was Durham. Just want to revisit that Tyler Parker tweet. Teen Hulk right there. Love seeing Arizona up there. Portland State getting on there, huh?
Portland State. Yeah, after this tweet, he got a handful of offers. He said, hey, man, did you see the tweet? I go, yeah, I saw it. He goes, what'd you think? I go, I don't know. I mean, it's you in a shirt with your shirt off. He goes, you retweet it? I go, I'm not going to retweet a young boy with the shirt off. Come on now. But, I mean, I've seen it. He goes to every camp, every lineman competition. He competes so hard. He's one of those guys who, weight room warrior, as you can see, loves to work out, loves to grind. And Man, he's a competitor, highly competitive kid. So
who are the Dragons right there? I don't recognize that. Do you recognize that?
I do not recognize.
I don't think he's going to end up there.
Deion Sanders over here, Cal.
Yeah. Jackson State.
His older brother Ashton Sanders was a commit to Cal for just a couple of weeks. Decommitted last week.
Just a sophomore. San Juan Hills spent a timeout there, so they'll have 2 remaining here. 8:50 to go in the 4th. Empty backfield and taken off Tollefson, and there's just no running room. That line that's got some experience just can't open up a big enough hole there for him to sneak through. And the Michigan commit Collins Achiapong and Emmett Mosley in on the stop. Achiapong came here to play hoops, and look at him now. His first game since 2019 on the football field since he was a freshman at Fairmont Prep.
I saw him at a camp months ago, and he was about 215, 220. Now he's all up 250. Lower body is really strong and filled out. Look at, he doesn't really know how to even get into a stance right now. He's got his, the foot. He's just such a raw, natural athlete. Once he gets coached up, and that's when you talk about projection and upside. Just once he figures it out.
Takes up a lot of real estate. This is incomplete. Braden Bachler, and there's going to be a flag. Boy, that was an uncatchable pass, but another miscue by the Eagles. Jeff Roberts, a busy man here tonight with a white hat.
He's going to need to ice that shoulder.
During the play, holding defense number 23. 10-yard penalty results in a first down.
They get Luke Anderson, the sophomore safety, for a hold. And so now it's a first down. And look at this. The ball is 1 yard away from Eagles territory, partner, for the first time tonight.
They might have, San Juan Hills might have more yards based on penalties than actual running and throwing it.
Yeah, they may give it back right here. 93 yards of penalties for Santa Margarita last time I counted. Right at the 8-minute mark. Might have started too soon. No penalty there. I think they started before the ball got set, so we'll redo it again on a first down and 10. Substitutions coming here for the Eagles. Look at Robert Frith in his 5th year here, already a CIF championship under his belt, 2019. They got it up on the scoreboard here at the Badlands. Place he is very proud of. Tollefson looked left, went back right, catch made. Oh, Colton Chase gets through to the 15, to the 10, and he's brought down right inside the 10-yard line. Wow, what a big play.
Shot out of a cannon, just got decked by one of his linemen. Man, I was kind of looking at that play going, where did he get that kind of juice from?
That looked like, remember Colin Chase at St. John Bosco last year?
I remember Forrest Gump playing from Alabama, too. Kind of reminded me of a little Gump just taking off right there.
We saw Colin Chase with a catch like that. That's a 40-yard play, the biggest of the night. They're in Eagles territory for the first time. And a whistle and hold everything. And I think Santa Margarita is going to call a defensive timeout, and they will. They'll spend their first here with 7:46 to go in the 4th. This thing got interesting all of a sudden.
It did. Got to finish the drive, though, right?
Yeah, I would assume if you get it in, then you go for 2. At least you can get within a field goal.
Make it a one-possession game.
I don't know. I was going to say, is it highly entertaining game? I'm not sure entertaining is the adjective we want to use. But it's kept us engaged, at least.
Yes.
If we have to use an E word, I guess it would be engaged here. For much of this, it was a 5-0 ball game. Both teams with a plethora of just self-inflicted wounds here.
I think both coaches are gonna be saying, "Gosh, man, we just gave him the game. Just gave it away. No matter who wins it." Film session's gonna be interesting. Like you said, though, week 0, a lot of kinks to still be worked out. Preseason, they don't get preseason.
We're in
Rams
week
are up,
0.
by the way. Talking preseason, just gotta slide that in there. The defending Super Bowl champions are up right now. The Houston Texans. Doesn't matter. I would say preseason doesn't matter unless my team wins. Then it kind of has a little carries more weight for me.
All right, land in the backfield. 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Best field position of the night for the Stallions. Tollefson takes it, runs right back to the line of scrimmage, and nothing there. Blake Wilson comes up to make the stop. And there's a little pushing and shoving. They've got to separate a Stallion and an Eagle.
So I was watching that. It was Zamorano, who I loved, and a Stallion receiver who I can't see the number. Was it Chase? But, like, it was one of those deals where it should be offsetting. If they might have referee just saw the second one, it might be on Santa Margarita.
Penalty markers resting at the 4-yard line. This type of game with all the penalties is like permanently placed there.
Yeah, that was two guys just kind of going at it, and Zamorano was on top, kind of gave one last shove, but it was a mutual thing.
Real estate has been hard to attain tonight for San Juan Hills. They don't want to give any back here.
After the play's over, personal foul, number 6, defense. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
All right, Zamorano, that's 12 penalties now for over 100 yards.
Yeah, he's been my guy all night. I've been watching him. And again, that was one of those. I think the ref saw the second one. It was a little bit back and forth. It was one of those wide receiver trying to block a corner that doesn't want to be blocked, and they end up going to the ground.
2nd and goal from the 5. Land is in the backfield. Weston Port has checked in now as a fullback. Just in front of Land, a man in motion, and they hand it off to that man in motion, and absolutely nothing there. Briggs Marquis gets stopped. And they're going to stop him for a loss back to the 6-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal here from the 6.
It's that Blake Wilson with the stick.
Coach Rosier.
A strong safety, right? That's what you dream of, right? Just you and him coming in that A-gap.
And Coach Rosier told us that's the most speed that they've had here in his tenure. Tollefson rolls out, throws back in the end zone, caught by the tight end, who's Army bound, Braden Bachler. It is a ball game. He's going to wear those camos not only on the field but off the field when he gets to Army next year. How about that?
Great play call. Just again, watching the play develop. I saw him break open, and he was open early. Nice job by Tollefson. Sometimes the guys are so wide open, you either kind of want to short arm it a little bit or you put a little too much juice on it. That was a nice, easy throw and a nice job getting open. The Army commit.
First points of the night come with 6:58 to go in the 4th quarter here for San Juan Hills. Now they've got this funky formation as they go for 2 here. Makes no sense to kick the extra point, and they're going to have to spend a timeout here on a 2-point conversion here. Tollefson is beside himself tonight. We've seen him and his coach fiery at each other here tonight.
So many different puns you could use with Butter. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go to that level. But yeah, right there he's open.
Yep. Well designed play.
Two guys
just
open.
Looking it right into the hands.
Yep.
Kid at 4 Division I offers. Northern Colorado, San Jose State, UNLV, and Army is going to go serve his country. He'll be in West Point next year.
Look, he had Western Port open as well. Went to the tight end.
And what did Coach Fritz say to us? But one of the reasons why he got the Army scholarship and why he's gotten better as a player is he's been improving his route running. That's the biggest thing in the spring and in the summer. And it pays off right there. Perfectly run route, although he's probably not going to see balls thrown to him much when he gets to West Point. They just don't do that. He's got a big touchdown here, the 15th career touchdown for Butter Tollefson. And what is Tollefson's 10th career game on the varsity level?
Hopefully Bachler likes blocking, right? He'll be doing that a lot. Or say, hey, coach, switch me to edge. Let me play a little defense.
All 3 of those service academies running a similar offense, right?
Yeah.
Navy, Army, Air Force.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a preference?
Well, I have a son that's going to be a pilot in the Navy who ships out in 22 days, so I like Navy right now. A year ago, I'm not quite so sure.
Jay Campbell, running back coach from Air Force, is some old friends. I was kind of home for them, but I love all 3 of them.
Different formation now. They're throwing again in traffic, and there's a flag. They're going to get another chance at this. Looking for Colton Chase, and he got hit early. The infraction is Matthew Bays.
Yeah, he's on him early. Can't do that as the Stallions crowd is chanting. Now with ball on the 1.5-yard line. got a lot of little run-pass option.
Yep. Important two-point conversion here because a field goal could tie this thing in the fourth quarter. Your defense has been outstanding.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22, half the distance to the goal. Replay the untimed down.
So they're going to replay the two-point conversion here. It was 2-0. It was 5-0. It was 11-0. Now it's 11-6. That's the 13th penalty for 110 yards against Santa Margarita. That won't get it done in the Trinity League. Here's Land, and Land is in for the two-point conversion.
Now it's definitely a ball game.
Game on, brother.
Now that defense probably was feeling a little bit weathered. Now they're a little energized.
Yep. And if they can get a takeaway, wow. Boy, now you think back as they matched the touchdown, right? If they could have just punted that ball away a couple of times in this game. Let's go back. There hasn't been a lot of scoring in the game summary, but this comes early on, right? We're talking about the punting. There's the safety to make it 2-0. Then Garcia got gobbled up. Then the 42-yard field goal by Schuster makes it 5-0. It was that way at the half. Then in the fourth quarter, Potter keeps it himself. That makes it 11-0. And then for the first time in this game, the Stallions actually get it into Eagles territory, and a great play there. Bachler with the catch from Tollefson. And then here's the two-point conversion. And again, back to a one-possession game. It's 11-8.
So they're 1-for-1 scoring when they get past the 50-yard line, right? Easy game.
The thing is now is you've spent 2 timeouts and one of them on a two-point conversion. So if you're looking to stop the clock, if the Eagles can make some first downs, they might be able to escape with a 3-point win. Max Riquarte will kick this off for the first time here in this fourth quarter. It's received at the 15-yard line. On the return, it's Bane Eisman, and Eisman gets it to the 30-yard line. 6:49 to go. 1 timeout remaining for San Juan Hills, who sends the defense back out on the field.
I wonder if Eisman was really Easman, but they changed it to rhyme with Heisman, like Joe Thiesman.
That'd be a good call.
Right? Who knows?
And a little bit of pressure. You kind of like this, right, for Potter. This is the kind of pressure you're going to face when you get into the Trinity League. You may even face it next week at Norco. And we'll see how he responds here. Drive starts at their own 31-yard line for Jackson Potter. Being pushed a little by Beckman Kritza, the transfer from Colorado. Has 3 Power 5 offers, but not yet eligible to play. They're working on it. Quick little throw out right.
Like that a lot.
Catch is made. That's Emmett Mosley again. Mosley got brought down by Isaiah Bennett, the junior safety.
10-yard cushion, take that, right? That's easy money.
Yep. Clock on the move, coming up on 6.5 to go. That was a gain of 7 yards, 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, no, Coach Rouge, I think we'd love to lean on that offensive line, right? Just say, let's run the ball. Let's get 4 or 5 yards a pop. Nothing extravagant. We don't need any 45-yard runs. Just give me 4 or 5 yards every time. Kill the clock and get out of here. Use the word escape. That's what it would be.
It looks like it's Torian Nash there in the backfield. And a stutter step at the line of scrimmage as he gains the ball and then gains the line of scrimmage, but gets denied. Who comes out there? Weston Port, the 15-year-old sophomore. Great team leaders, got great technique, coming off an outstanding freshman year. First one to get to Nash. Oh, the stories in this game. It's 3rd and short now. If you can get them off the field here, you got a real chance. You bring the house?
Well, right now, Potter, yes, I would definitely bring pressure.
Dial up the blitz?
Yes, but if you're Santa Margarita, I mean, you have options, right? You can run it. You can do something quick outside, although the corners are a little bit tighter to the receivers right now.
And they're going to run, and Nash with a big first down.
That's what I liked before when they ran the ball on second down. They had everything kind of compacted, right? Get some receivers on the field, spread the defense out a little bit, make it a little harder for them. That box was not as congested on that third down run as it was in that second down run.
Westonport, Jake Jaworski in on the stop at a big first down, gets it out to the 46-yard line, but it keeps the clock moving here as they reset the chains. We're about to go inside 5 minutes to go, and again, the Stallions can only stop it once. Nash remains in the backfield. That's Emmett Mosley in motion. They give it to Nash. He started left, goes back right, and is dropped after a gain of a couple of yards. Looks like it's Gavin Bloom, number 55, who makes the stop on the defensive line. Coming up on crunch time now. This is all we could ask for, a little must-see TV. Huh?
Hey, did you think Santa Margarita up front would be able to push them around a little bit more?
I thought they would, yeah, with Ethan Thomas, who they say is the real deal. But again, you know, everybody's told us work in progress on the left side of that line, and it's such, actually make it the right side of the line. It's a very important piece to the puzzle there. Coming up on 4 minutes to go. A couple more first downs might do it. Here's Nash. Nash and runs right into Westonport, and it's going to be 3rd and long, partner. This thing just got interesting.
No, it definitely did. And again, you're kind of running into a stacked box, and there was no push at all. Watch the replay. There's 3 or 4 Stallions up the field.
Yeah.
Like 44, they're up the field. They're beating blocks right at the line.
What a form tackle by Westonport, the super sophomore. There is an injured Stallion player down, and that is Dylan Wershing, the hybrid safety.
I mean, there's so much to be said. I mean, size obviously matters. But, man, there's something to be said for technique and hands and getting off the ball correctly and being well coached and scheming.
See the 3rd down conversions here tonight. That's a shocker that Santa Margarita has only converted on 1/3 of them. It's time now for Greg Biggins' CIF Southern Section Power Rankings. I don't see Servite on there. You might have got that one right. Everybody else is going to have Servite.
I love Servite, but I can't. I couldn't do it. Modern Day.
I agree.
I know there were some national outlets that had Bosco 1, Modern Day 2. It's a coin toss. My philosophy, just going back to Mark Tennis, Cowboy Sports, whoever wins it the year before, if the talent's equal, right, it's always going to be between those two. Just give it to the defending champs. What did Ric Flair say? To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Right. That might be your 1 through 8 seeds when we get to Division 1.
So Sarah's now losing, actually. I'm checking my phone. I think Olu scored late in the game, so Olu is up on Sarah. Warren is Nico Ia Maliaba, and then I like Corona Del Mar a lot. There's a few other teams that were on the verge, but I like that CDM a lot.
How about some prep zone scores here? Well, we've got the injury timeout. They stretch out a Stallion player down there. And there, what you mentioned, Orange Lutheran with a 1-point lead, and then Inglewood. That's a rematch of a playoff game from last year, and Inglewood with the win over St. Bonaventure. This time they get them down in Inglewood.
A little more high scoring than this one. Inglewood, a ton of athletes. St. Bonnie, I like their QB running back combination. They're going to win a lot of games. The Seraphs. How about this? Has nothing to do with this game, but at halftime I was talking to Just Went Final, Olu. That was probably going to be
Sherman's team, man.
You know what's funny? That was my number 10 team before I put CDM. I actually emailed my boy Chris Ward, who's the O-line player. I said, hey, Chris, you guys a top 10 team? He goes, not yet, not right now. Whatever, Chris Ward. You just cost me. And speaking of NFL, NFL preseason football just does not matter. As I said earlier, Rams are now losing.
You got a 3-team parlay here with this game, and you're really sweating out this game.
No, I had a Chuck Chastain who's from Norco, great head coach. And he walked by. They played Bosco in a scrimmage last night. He said that was the best defensive team he's ever seen in his life.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who they had played. I heard him say that. Wow. So we'll see St. John Bosco later this season against the Hawaiian State champs. All right, big 3rd down now. That's a Saturday game on September the 17th.
Red Raiders.
Clock is running. Coming up on 3 minutes to go. Can they get him off the field here?
I'm looking for Lopez in that slot.
One more first down might be able to do it. Potter, plenty of time. Potter fires downfield, and this time Lopez has got it in coverage. He beats Hagani for a huge first down that may, in fact, have put this one away.
And how gutsy is that? I was thinking, 5 or 6, just get the first down. Jackson's like, no, I'm going deep. He airs it out. Great job. Body control. Look at this body control, man. Twisting them. That's good coverage. Very solid. But Lopez, man, when you're a gifted football player, man, you got to win those one-on-one battles. That's what he does.
On 3rd and long, they get 36 yards and a first down. Nico Lopez headed to Colorado State. They say he's got a Travis Kelce-ish demeanor to him. And, yeah, we saw it right there, huh?
It's a pretty big comparison, calling Travis Kelce one of the top, 2 or 3 tight ends in the NFL.
Dorian Nash back in there at tailback. They can just run it now. Stallions trying to get guys through the gap, and they do. Give it to Nash, and he pays the price. First one through is Jaworski.
I almost think Potter's got to maybe, mix up his snap count a little bit, right? Give me a hard count, because those guys are just coming. They're coming fast. Maybe you can draw them offside with a little
Levi Kreider was in there, too, the inside linebacker.
Yeah. No, they're flying through the interior, like right between those two guards, center.
Kreider was on the JV team last year. This is his first year as a varsity starter. They say he loves contact. He loves it there. Loss of 5, 2nd and 15, but the clock moves inside of 2 minutes, and the Stallions only have 1 timeout. They may want to use it after this play. Showing a little more pressure. Play action. Potter rolls out. He stumbles a bit. He's being chased. He throws. Mosley has it. Emmett Mosley away from the contact. Reaching out for the goal line. And touchdown, Eagles.
See, that is an All-American play right there by Emmett Mosley. You saw a little bit of why he's so special. After catch, you got to do something special. Everybody can catch the football and go down right away. I want a guy who can make 3 or 4 guys miss and then stretch the ball into the end zone, which Emmett just did.
And think about it. Big yak there. He had tried a little bit of yak in the first quarter, right, and fumbled the football inside the red zone. He's had a number of drop passes, but when it comes down to it and he's got to make a play, he does, and it goes back to the Schottenheimer thing. The Eagles are going to make one more play tonight than the Stallions.
And if you're Potter, you got to be really sure about that pass, right? Because an incomplete pass, the clock's stopping.
Exactly.
And at that point, the clock's probably your biggest ally, so make sure Emmett was open, accurate throw, great run after catch by Mosley.
And that stretches it out to a 2-possession game as they get the extra point.
1, 2, and then stretch it out.
Yep.
Beautiful play.
Potter's first touchdown throw of the season. The UAB commit to Emmett Mosley will definitely be playing at a Power 5 a few years from now. Boy, just to put the drops and the fumble behind you, right, and have the wherewithal. That's what coaches always say. Hey, let's just forget about it and play the next play, right?
Yep.
There was his next play.
It's so hard to do that, but yeah, the next play. Read Tony Dungy's book, Winner Within, and he kept talking about the next play. No excuses.
Mosley, despite the drops and the fumble, 9 catches, 94 yards for the Servite transfer.
I mean, it's again the cliche time, but you want your best players to be your best players in these kind of games where you had big time Lopez with the 3rd down and long catch. Yep. Mosley punching it in right there. Those are two unique talents.
And so the Trinity League team ranks 7th in the state of California is going to start sending the Badlands folks to the exits right here with 1:35 to go. And for the 2nd straight year, they're going to beat San Juan Hills. But a lot for the Stallions to build on. It was, in fact, a 1-score game with just seconds left. This is returnable after the fumble. It's picked up. That's Chase. Chase cut back and then gets hammered down around the 9-yard line.
Hey, man, I'm already ready to be back here next year, right? I mean, all these Stallions, not just the quarterback and not just Butter and Weston Port, man, they got a bunch of sophomore, juniors. So I think next year, a chance to be a really special team.
Yeah, like in the Division 3, 4, or 5 kind of level next year. Here's an injured Eagles player.
Yeah, looks like another cramp.
Yep. It is LaRue Zamorano who's down. Needs to be stretched out.
Yeah. Sometimes with players like Mosley, then the game just looks so easy for them.
Nope. 2 turnovers in this game really hurt the Stallions. Their defense was great. The offense was sluggish, and they kind of knew that was going to happen. I think Robert Frith kind of alluded to that in our conversation with him. So many first-year guys. You lose 4 senior wide receivers. And the amazing thing is they had 4 senior wide receivers, right? 3 of them that went Division I, and still they only won 3 games a year ago and started the season 0-5. That's hard to imagine.
Tough schedule. And again, South Coast League was really good last year, but I mean, special teams gave them what? How many points? Just had a safety, and yeah, the touchdown resulted from another kind of a muff punt.
Yeah, they're going to work on snapping the football on special teams and punts, especially.
I think we'll see my guy Chris Rubio, long snapping guru. That's the hardest thing to do, man. I would not want to ever long snap. It's just not fun. Right? That's tough.
No, there's a certain way to snap that ball. Now, if you can get your kid to do it, you can be like a David Benn of the Chargers. Remember who dated Pamela Anderson and made about $900,000 a year for 20 years in the NFL?
Getting scholarship now. Long snappers are now getting scholarship. So,
well, David Benn for the Chargers all those years was out of Cal as a long snapper and made quite a career out of it. He's now enjoying an NFL pension because he stayed in the league so long.
You had me at dated Pam Anderson. I was good with him right then. That was enough.
Well, a lot of people probably don't remember that.
I do not remember that.
That was the Charger Insider all those years ago. Tollefson takes off, flings it off his back foot out of bounds out of the Eagles bench. We got another penalty marker resting at the 3-yard line. 1:22 to go, a 2-possession game. San Juan Hills, just their 3rd drive here of this second half.
That is hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, you got to give a little bit of credit to the run game, right, of the Eagles and just chewing up 5 yards per carry and getting some first downs. Keep this thing going. They'll be 1-0 and will play at Norco next. Well, we'll host Norco next week.
Personal foul, roughing the passer against the defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
So 15-yard penalty is going to move this ball up closer to the 25-yard line for a last-ditch effort. 1 timeout left, 1:22 to go for that man's team.
I have a quick shout out. We got time for a quick shout out. So there's all saying you're a Fulton Indian for 4 years, but you're an Ocean View Seahawk for life. Got a couple boys having their 50th birthday parties this weekend. Steve.
Oh, very cool.
Darren Upstill, Eric Schaff, my guys from Ocean View. Would love to have been at Four Sons tonight, but go Seahawks.
How about this? Not to spoil their birthday shout out, but for Santa Margarita, here's what they overcome tonight. 14 penalties for 125 yards, a turnover, and 2 missed field goals in the game. I'm not sure that effort will get it done in the Trinity League, maybe against anybody. But again, a long way to go. They're also going to play Los Al this year. Had a fantastic come-from-behind win against Malachi Nelson and his troops last year. Here's what's coming up.
And Los Al, that's the schedule right there for Santa Margarita.
Game of the week next week. We'll be at Veterans Stadium. Then after that, our first look at Mater Dei and Centennial. That's likely going to be 1 versus 9 in the nation. That's on a Friday right before the college football season gets started the next day in earnest. Servite Los Alamitos, so look at the rebuilt Friars and Malachi Nelson. And after that, that aforementioned Kahuku and St. John Bosco. There's Bachler again with a first down catch. The Army commit. And my goodness, he took a big hit. And hopefully he'll be okay. Yeah, it looks like
he's okay. He's going to West Point. Loves that. It's a flesh wound.
Yeah, that's what your bunkmate will do to you if you took a big shot. If you don't have your dress uniform perfectly pressed, you'll likely get kicked in the ankles. Tollefson under the pressure and just lets it go out of bounds. Stops the clock.
His receiver came back
to
try to help block. I think Butter probably would have been like, dude, go get open.
Next week should be fantastic with a defending state champ, Sarah. And Malik Murphy won't be there. He's now in Austin, Texas. And Bachler comes off the field. Long Beach Poly with Darius Curry. They played last night. They blew out Clovis on the road in triple-digit temperatures. And Curry just was unbelievable in that game.
Yeah, no. Jason Robinson, USC commit. Dylan Williams with banging guys. USC commit. And Sarah Rod Pleasant. Jason Mitchell, Dakota Fields.
Darius Curry threw 4 touchdowns last night to 4 different receivers for Poly. Tollefson.
He's got some wiggle. I know he was a good athlete, but he's got a little more wiggle than I think I gave him credit for previously.
41.9 to go in a timeout. San Juan Hill's going to use that final timeout here. And this is good. You can work on some stuff right here. I know a lot of the student section is headed out into the parking lot and into the night here.
I'm a big fan of body language. If you ever see that interview with Gino Oriema, butchers at UConn.
Oriema, yeah, the UConn.
But like you can tell a lot. Watching quarterbacks when they're getting end of a losing game, you can just how they kind of deal with their teammates and how they kind of handle themselves, and just watching Tollefson, man, he's still playing hard. He's still trying to inspire, and I like that.
Yeah, he plays with an attitude, a little chip on his shoulder.
And I like that, though, man. I've seen some quarterbacks in this game that they've checked out. They've already quit. They will not engage with their teammates. They're already kind of in pout mode.
Tollefson has over 100 yards of total offense in this game, 85 passing, 55 rush yards in this game. We invite you to join us afterwards on the post-game show. We got to run down to do our post-game show here. That's incomplete and intended for Colton Chase. .36.7 seconds. Be another season-opening loss for the second consecutive year for the 2019 CIF champions. 4th down now. Their last offensive play, perhaps, unless they can get a first down here. Tollefson to throw, and he just lobs it up, and it's Marquis. Had it and took the hit from Wilson. Out it came, and they're going to turn it over on downs. And that'll do it with 30.3 to go.
Yep, here we go. Big three formation for one play. It's a nice throw. Nice defensive play as well.
Do you think they'll use the word survive in Santa Margarita after this
in advance.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think Coach Ruse, there's a lot of coaching to come from this one. But, you know, you always say when you're kind of a win, you'd rather win ugly than lose pretty.
Yep. I'd agree with that. So out comes the Eagles offense, and they're going to switch it up at quarterback, it would appear. And Potter going to be out. Cameron Burke will get a chance, the senior quarterback. We talked about if Potter can't go the entire season, and there's no indications he won't, but Beckham Kritza just transferred in from Colorado as those 3 Power 5 offers from A&M, Kansas, and Colorado, and just got to get eligible. And taking a knee right there is Cameron Burke, and that's going to do it. For the second year in a row, Santa Margarita wins this game over San Juan Hills. But, man, it took everything. They had to overcome penalties, a turnover, a couple of missed field goals, a lot of mistakes that were self-induced. But the Eagles are off to a 1-0 start, much to the enjoyment of Anthony Rouzier in his 3rd season here. Breathes a big sigh of relief.
Just win, baby. Right, survive in advance. That's like the 1 seed against the 16 seed in March Madness, and you win by 3 or 4 points.
Well, it's time to go down on the field. Anna Conley with our Gary Paskowitz player of the game, and who else? The UAB-bound quarterback, Jackson Potter for the Eagles. Anna.
Jackson, you are our Gary Paskowitz player of the game. Now walk me through that game-winning drive.
Yeah, you know what? We just wanted to, get some clock down, eat some clock. But then, obviously, we had that big play with Nico. Made a great play. Ran the ball once, and then on that naked, Emmett made a really great play. So, yeah, that's kind of how that drive went.
Hey, you made a great play, too. Something happened with 3.5 to go when you stepped out on this field. Coach Rouzier talks about that dog culture. How are you able to turn on that dog in you?
You know, he does a great job of, like, kind of enforcing that in our everyday life. And, you know, I'm so happy for this team. And, you know. Yeah.
You're doing great, Jackson. You're a senior. I'm going to make you answer one more question. What does a win like this say about this team? This is week 0. You got a lot of weeks coming up.
Yeah, we obviously have a lot to work on, but, you know, we're resilient. We played 4 quarters of football. It wasn't always clean, but, you know, we got the job done. A W's a W.
Got the job done. Thank you, Jackson, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, big night for Jackson Potter. Leads his team to a victory, wire to wire, throws a touchdown pass, also runs for one, and the Santa Margarita Eagles are unbeaten to start the season at 1-0. They win it by 10. Post-game show coming up next here from the Badlands.
Yeah, they're doing some Notre Dame alma mater thing, so. But I got eyes on him. Yeah.
We're ready for you now, Coach. We got our locker room. Hey, now, locker room. You scared the juice out of the batteries.
Yeah.
All right, ready? My microphone will work.
Locker room. Getting everybody in the locker room.
Coach, something clicked in the 4th quarter. What happened?
Field position, I think, started to benefit us quite a bit. First and foremost, credit to them. Credit to Coach Frith. Credit to Butter. Man, credit to Coach McElroy, O-line. They were playing shorthanded. They did some great things, a little screen, unbalanced stuff to us. And, you know, I'm really impressed with how they fought. I know they had some guys down, too. So for us on our end, you know, I think we got a few things we capitalized, and some guys that, you know, were a little off in the beginning were able to make some plays. Big play by Potts, big play by Mose. Nico's play was huge. I mean, that was the big play. You know, that's where we were very fortunate. But again, I can't give enough credit to them. You know, they did a great job, and we got to do a lot more to get better.
Hey, it's still week 0. It's technically preseason. So how do you build off of a win like this heading into conference play later in the season?
Well, it's like everything else. You got to evaluate the tape. You got to see what you did well, what you didn't do well. I'm really proud of the defense. I think they played hard. And then just think of, you know, work on the fundamentals to get us better, and just focus and, you know, growth mindset and continue to chop at it. And we got a great opponent next week in Norco, and we got a lot of work to do.
Hey, great job today. You walked away with a win. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it. Oh, that's why, because it's not really a... Do you have your IV in? It's right. Yeah. Oh. Yep, we got it. We're coming. Okay, you can put your ear in.
Yeah, I'm here, hon. Okay, we've got 1 minute, guys.
Okay. Yep, we're good.
You'll be off camera. But
Okay.
Your mic.
How far away are we? Okay.
I got it.
Yep. How far away are we? We said 1 minute. Oh, shit.
All right. He's ready to go.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got you.
You're wired up? You're good? Sweet.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
fix
more.
it in a minute. He just needs to talk.
Okay. Yeah, they're good. Oh, shit.
Okay.
It's okay.
You
He's
sure?
Not gonna be on camera.
Okay. All right.
Just, he needs, we've only got a few seconds.
Shoes look super comfortable.
Yeah, they are. I got them at Nordstrom Rack.
Well, it certainly wasn't pretty for the 7th-ranked team here in the state of California, but the Santa Margarita Eagles get it done against San Juan Hills here in Week 0, despite all the penalties, despite 2 missed field goals, despite a turnover and dropped balls. They get out of here with a victory, a 10-point win over the Stallions. A moment ago, our Anna Conley had an opportunity to catch up with the head coach of the Santa Margarita Eagles, Anthony Rouzier.
Coach, something clicked in the fourth quarter. What happened?
Field position, I think, started to benefit us quite a bit. First and foremost, credit to them. Credit to Coach Frith. Credit to Butter. Man, credit to Coach McElroy, O-line. They were playing shorthanded. They did some great things, a little screen, unbalanced stuff to us. And, you know, I'm really impressed with how they fought. I know they had some guys down, too. So for us on our end, you know, I think we got a few things and we capitalized, and some guys that, you know, were a little off in the beginning were able to make some plays. Big play by Potts, big play by Mose. Nico's play was huge. I mean, that was the big play. You know, that's where we're very fortunate. But again, I can't give enough credit to them. You know, they did a great job, and we got to do a lot more to get better.
Hey, it's still Week 0. It's technically preseason. So how do you build off of a win like this heading into conference play later in the season?
Well, it's like everything else. You got to evaluate the tape. You got to see what you did well, what you didn't do well. I'm really proud of the defense. I think they played hard. And then just think of, you know, work on the fundamentals to get us better, and just focus and, you know, growth mindset and continue to chop at it. And we got a great opponent next week in Norco, and we got a lot of work to do.
Hey, great job today. You walked away with a win. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Greg Biggins, I think I would echo those statements. They do have a lot of work to do, and they're ranked 7th in the state of California.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they have talent, right? We saw that. They got an offensive line, or they're big. Defensively, they get after it. They got difference makers, and that's what it makes you kind of like have a puncher's chance against anybody. Lopez and Mosley give you a chance. They can pretty much win a game for you. So a lot to work on, but they got some guys. They'll get better. They'll improve as the year goes along. I'm not worried about them.
Yep. Jackson Potter was pretty good, the UAB commit. Mosley as well. Let's take a look at the highlights from this game here and show you a little bit about, you know, obviously there were, as we look at your dudes here, here's Potter, right? And he controlled it kind of at the end.
Now, I thought his stat, I don't know what the stats are, but he probably had at least 100 yards of drops, it felt like. And, you know, I thought he put some balls right where they needed to be. I like the jump that he's made in terms of just his athleticism, ability to make, you know, be creative outside the pocket, poise, decision-making. I thought he showed that. And this throw right here to Lopez, that's the biggest throw of the game. And obviously Nico Lopez being a great player that he is going to Colorado State. You want your guys to step up in those crucial situations. Emmett Mosley right there did it, Lopez before, but I thought Potter ran the show looked very comfortable.
Yeah, didn't feel like Potter threw for 183 yards in this game, but he was pretty well poised, and the Blazers of UAB are getting a good one. This defense for Santa Margarita, the Eagles with Chiapong coming from the outside and Talley as well, and Bauer making plays. I mean, they really made it tough for Tollefson throughout this ball game, and as a matter of fact, Stallions only got across the 50-yard line into Eagles territory one time in that fourth quarter. They're pitching a shutout for a while there, the Eagles.
I was really impressed with their secondary. I mentioned LaRue, you know, Camestro, the safety. I mean, they were locking up, for the most part, those wide receivers. We talked about Tollefson having to run a lot. It wasn't just because of the pressure up front. On the back end, right, they were covering them up, and those linebackers can all run and hit, and they play physical, and they're tough. And they're really well coached as well, right? They got a nice scheme in place, and, you know, with the Iowa State type of defense, 3-3-5. So, you know, I'm excited about that Eagle defense. I think they've got a chance to be really good on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and that defense tonight forced 2 turnovers in the game. It also had 6 sacks when we last checked against Butter Tollefson, the sophomore quarterback. When we come back, we'll look ahead to next week. We're going to look in on a defending state champion, Sarah, against one of the storied programs in Southern California, Long Beach Poly. We'll preview it next.
Time to look at the Prep Zone scoreboard here. Orange Lutheran, that might very well finishes the third team in the Trinity League, get big opening week 0 win over Sarah, defending state champ. Both those teams were in a regional last year, 27-26 the final there in Inglewood, beating St. Bonaventure 41-34. They met in the playoffs Division II last year. Okay, we get to see Sarah and Long Beach Poly next week. Third time they've played in a year. And you also have Norco. The Santa Margarita team is going to be home against Norco. Amat, La Habra, all those games streaming on the Bally Sports app. How excited are you? I mean, I can't wait. I'm like, let's bring on next Friday night as well.
I'm very excited. I mean, I love athletics. I love athletes, right? And watching Polly and Sarah, Roderick Pleasant, how about 10-1-4? That's his 100-meter time. 20-40. That's his 200-meter time, man. He can run. He is one of the most dynamic football players. He's going to play some offense and corner this year. Return some punts and kicks. I love the way the guy plays, and he's going to do both sports at the college level as well. And then Polly, man, they got some guys. Darius Curry, Jason Robinson, Dylan Williams. It's going to be a great game filled with athletes. Can't wait.
Well, let's show you what Pleasant did. I had a chance to call their game against in the regionals against Long Beach Poly in December, and it was just a blast. And he was outstanding as a defensive end, or defensive back, rather. He can make a lot of great plays.
Yeah, no, and I want to see him this. I want to right. I feel like if you're an elite athlete at the high school level, you got to go with the ways. I get modern day Bosco, you don't need to, but at the high school level, if you're not playing for those two teams, man, I want to see him in offense with the ball in his hands.
How about Darius Curry wins the starting job at Long Beach Poly, and yesterday against Clovis throws 4 different touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. He completed a ball to 6 different receivers for over 30 yards yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he tore his ACL last year, and it was a major. I mean, he tore everything in there. I don't think he was supposed to be back till mid-season. They're calling it kind of a miraculous recovery, the way he rallied from that. And, obviously great week 0 game last night, and easy kid to root for. Darius Curry, awesome kid, and really happy for him.
So we'll be at Veterans Memorial Stadium for a 7:37 kickoff next Friday night. So come on out and join us. If not, watch us right here on Bally Sports. It's been our pleasure starting the 2022 season with Santa Margarita, the 7th-ranked team of the nation, the 7th-ranked team in the state of California, rather, with an 18-8 win. For Anna Conley, Greg Biggins, our great crew in the truck here for Bally Sports, I'm Steve Quist. Until we talk again next Friday night, good night from the Badlands here in South Orange County.